Something wonderfully magical is in the air, isn't it? A familiar feeling that's been buried too deep for far too long. It's the contagious power of hope, the anticipation, the energy, the exhilaration of once again being on the cusp of a brighter day. The chance to vanquish the demons of fear, division, and hate that have consumed us and continue pursuing the unfinished promise of this great nation, the dream that our parents and grandparents fought and died and sacrificed for. America, hope is making a comeback.
A lot of Americans don't believe government can help. And as we gather here tonight, the people who will decide this election are asking a very simple question. Who will fight for me? Who's thinking about my future, about my children's future, about our future together? One thing is for certain, Donald Trump is not losing sleep over that question.
My mom and my father didn't aspire to be wealthy. In fact, they were suspicious of folks who took more than they needed. They understood that it wasn't enough for their kids to thrive if everyone else around us was drowning. Those were the values my mother poured into me until her very last breath. Kamala Harris and I built our lives on those same foundational values.
He doesn't seem to care if more women lose their reproductive freedom, since it won't affect his life. Donald Trump wants us to think that this country is hopelessly divided between us and them, between the real Americans, who of course support him, and the outsiders who don't. And he wants you to think that you'll be richer and safer if you will just give him the power to put those other people back in their place. We do not need 4 more years of bluster and bumbling and chaos. We have seen that movie before, and we all know that the sequel is usually worse.
No one has a monopoly on what it means to be an American. No one. Kamala has shown her allegiance to this nation, not by spewing anger and bitterness, but by living a life of service. She understands that most of us will never be afforded the grace of failing forward. We will never benefit from the affirmative action of generational wealth. If we bankrupt a business or choke in a crisis, we don't get a second, third, or fourth chance. We don't have the luxury of whining or cheating others to get further ahead. No. We don't get to change the rules so we always win. If we see a mountain in front of us, we don't expect there to be an escalator waiting to take us to the top. We get to work. In America, we do something.
Kamala Harris won't be focused on her problems. She'll be focused on yours. That's the Democratic Party's vision. And our job over the next 11 weeks is to convince as many people as possible to vote for that vision.
Now, unfortunately, we know what comes next. We know folks are going to do everything they can to distort her truth. My husband and I sadly know a little something about this. For years, Donald Trump did everything in his power to try to make people fear us. His limited, narrow view of the world made him feel threatened by the existence of 2 hard-working, highly educated, successful people who happen to be black. I want to know, who's going to tell him that the job he's currently seeking might just be one of those black jobs?
The other side knows it's easier to play on people's fears and cynicism, always has been. They will tell you that government is inherently corrupt, that sacrifice and generosity are for suckers. And since the game is rigged, it's okay to take what you want and just look after your own. That's the easy path. We have a different task. Our job is to convince people that democracy can actually deliver. And in doing that, we can't just point to what we've already accomplished. We can't just rely on the ideas of the past. We need to chart a new way forward.
Cutting our health care, taking away our freedom to control our bodies, the freedom to become a mother through IVF like I did, those things are not going to improve the health outcomes of our wives, mothers, and daughters. Shutting down the Department of Education, banning our books, none of that will prepare our kids for the future. Demonizing our children for being who they are and loving who they love, look, that doesn't make anybody's life better.
Kamala and Tim understand that when everybody gets a fair shot, we are all better off. They understand that when every child gets a good education, the whole economy gets stronger. When women are paid the same as men for doing the same job, all families benefit. Democracy isn't just a bunch of abstract principles and dusty laws in some book somewhere. It's the values we live by. It's the way we treat each other, including those who don't look like us, or pray like us, or see the world exactly like we do.
It's up to all of us to be the antidote to the darkness and division. Look, I don't care how you identify politically, whether you're Democrat, Republican, Independent, or none of the above. This is our time to stand up for what we know in our hearts is right.
Our politics have become so polarized these days. All of us across the political spectrum seem so quick to assume the worst in others. Unless they agree with us on every single issue, we start thinking that the only way to win is to scold and shame and out-yell the other side. And after a while, regular folks just tune out, or they don't bother to vote. Now, that approach may work for the politicians who just want attention and thrive on division, but it won't work for us. Donald Trump sees power as nothing more than it means to his ends. Donald Trump and his well-heeled donors, for them, one group's gains is necessarily another group's loss.
What's up, everybody? Thank y'all for joining the live stream tonight. I'm Chad O. Jackson, and tonight we have with us Mr. Blanche Robinson and Miss Crystal. How are y'all today?
Hey, what's up, family?
It's been a while since the three of us went live together, so I'm happy to get into it.
I miss you all.
Yeah, you too. You too. So, have y'all been watching the? I think you're muted, Blanche. By the way, have y'all been watching the DNC convention or what?
Oh yeah. Oh yes. I think I texted you guys this morning and I said, "Oh my God, like it's nauseating." That was the only word that I could come up with this morning as I was watching it. It was just nauseating. I can't believe I voted for these people.
What about you, Blanche? You've been watching it? You've been keeping up?
I just been, trying to, what I can stomach. I can only watch about 20 minutes at a time. Just because I know it wouldn't be bad if I knew folks didn't believe it. Like, it's not like it wouldn't be bad if I knew folks thought it was BS. But the fact that I know people actually hang on every word they're saying, it just makes it disgusting,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, I know this word is overused. It used to be, oh, you're projecting. Now it's you're gaslighting. And I don't know that. I mean, when I saw, I don't know about you all, but when I watched those two speeches, that's the word that came to mind is that they were gaslighting, that they are the cause of all the destruction and all the dysfunction that we've seen over the course of the last 16 years. And but yet they're trying to place everything wrong and everything bad at the feet of Donald Trump and say that he's the one who's causing division. He's the one who's causing strife. And the reality is we are worse off as a country in 2024 than we were in 2008. And that's a stone cold fact. But yeah, I mean, what do you guys think? Do you think that this word gaslighting is overused? Do you think that's an astute, I guess, description of what they were doing, or what other words would you all ascribe to those two speeches?
I don't know if I would use gaslighting, because for me, and you guys could correct me if I'm wrong. I really think they believe this. Like gaslighting to me, like says that there's some kind of intent to deceive. Like these folks are just big and bold. Like I guess I was.
You don't think that Barack Obama has an intention to deceive?
I don't know. I'm not saying
Barack
that.
Obama is a trained deceiver. He's a Marxist through and through. The whole way to get Marxism into the public square is through deception. I mean, he studied the greats such as Martin Luther King and Bill Ayers and Bernardine Dohrn and Saul Alinsky. Like he studied these folks, Frantz Fanon. Like he studied these individuals, and all they did was lie, deceive, manipulate. I mean, he's a utilitarian in that respect. He believes that the ends justify the means. For him, lying is a justified means to the end of ushering in a globalist agenda. And so he knows full well. I mean, this guy, like he's Harvard educated. He went to Chicago where he became a community organizer, where he was able to use black elderly folks to try to push legislation and ordinances and regulation at the local and state level there in Chicago. I mean, community organizing is a deceptive thing in itself because you're using you're basically exploiting certain grievances, amplifying them, making them bigger than what they actually are. So that way you can get the government to do something. Obama is a trained deceiver. He knows exactly what he's doing. I don't know. I'm not willing to give him the benefit of the doubt at all, Crystal.
I hear you, but I guess because I was that at one point in time and I really, really believed it until, like I said, it ends up in a dead end. And I see people like him and like, y'all, don't eat me up in the comments. But let me tell you something. When I watched Michelle Obama and I watched Barack Obama, I like them. I do. Even though I know, I'm telling you, it's like the devil coming as an angel of light. Like seriously, like you're like, oh my God, I realize why people like them. They are so likable.
They're not likable at all. I don't see it. I don't see it. I'm going to have to disagree with you on that. I mean, I guess we like what we like and we don't like what we don't like. So I guess there's nothing really to disagree with. I can't disagree with you or not liking them. Although, for me, there's nothing likable about Barack Obama. He's a liar. He is a manipulator. He's a deceiver. He's a snake. There's nothing likable about him. I mean, and then too, the fact that he's able to deceive so many people, not merely by effect of his own charm, but rather because he has the entire backdrop of the legacy and the mainstream media there to support and validate and hang on his every word and to make him look larger than life. It's really like they are the ones who made Barack Obama. It wasn't merely his own doing. The media made Barack Obama. Make no mistake about it. And I mean, I don't know. Like the more I know, the more I learn about who this man is. And our good friend, Mr. Chuck Littleton, Teach 'em Chuck, did a phenomenal expose on who Barry Santoros is. Those of you in the audience, watch that if you want to know who this man is. But there's so much information. Like the more you realize how much of a snake he is, the least likable he is. And for me, it's like we can't be tricked or bamboozled by the charm, by his ability to deliver a speech, because that's how the devil works. When you think about Lucifer and the beautiful voice and how he shows up to you, embodied in the thing that you like, because his whole agenda is to steal, kill, and destroy. We can't like the devil. Am I saying that Barack Obama is the devil? Not necessarily, but he's certainly the son of the devil. Go ahead, Blanche.
Yeah, so I understand what Crystal is saying. Again, if you listen to Michelle if you listen to Barry and Big Mike, if you listen to them at face value, if I remove myself with knowing what I know, what they're saying sounds like gold. If I take away everything I know, who I am, and I'm just one of the empty shells in the crowd, what they're saying is articulated very well to that type of uninitiated person. Now, knowing what we know, of course not, but I do understand how they can be liked. I do understand how people could hang on to every word. I understand, because if you don't know anything and you believe the media, then they look like saviors, almost some godlike figures. So yeah, I understand what she's saying. I mean, I'm disgusted by them, but you know, that's me because I know now. But I do understand the likability of those two. I'm just curious as to what would their talking points be if it was Joe Biden instead of Kamala, because I feel like when it's Kamala, they're trying to make excuses for why the country's messed up. But when it was Joe Biden running and about to run, they were talking about how great the country was. So it's just funny to me, like they have to have two playbooks. One playbook telling you how great America is, and then one playbook telling you how bad it is because of Trump. And it's almost like people are none the wiser because, like I said before, when Black people are on stage with a microphone, they're believed. No one thinks that Barack Obama and Michelle Obama are lying. They're just not thinking that. Most people believe what they're saying. So when they say things like Trump wants to do this, Trump wants to do that, people think it's real. When they say, you know, we're going to do this, people think it's real because it's just, and to me, it's just the privilege that comes with skin tone. It's just when Black people are complaining and pointing the finger at white people, it's believed. And so I think they're more dangerous than ever to me than anybody, because who will question them? Who would ever say Barack is lying? And one white guy that said Barack called him a liar, that dude been missing ever since. Where is he? we haven't even seen him. The one white guy that was brave to say you're a liar has been disappeared on the face of the planet. He's probably in a gulag right now. Yeah. But I just wanted to say that listening to them, Chad and Crystal, it's almost like you're watching a wizard and a witch and a warlock, you know, cast a spell on the people. And you're like, you don't have the magical powers to fight. Like, you don't have the Harry Potter wand. You didn't go to Hogwarts school to learn this stuff. So you got to watch them like cast this spell. And then you hope when they get done casting the spell, you'll be able to come in with a Bible verse and undo it. But I don't know. It's going to be tough.
Yeah. And I agree. So I hear what you guys are saying. Like, once I found out more about Barack Hussein Obama, like I was literally disgusted by this human being. Like, seriously, I am so far like conspiracy theory. Sometimes I don't know about, you know, Mish, I like you and all. But I mean, the more and more I found out about them, like, I was disgusted by them. But when I watched them, you guys, nobody can deny that they are cool. Like, they are really cool. Like, you hear what they say. And like Blanche says, like, it sounds like a pot of gold. It literally, and your face can look like that all you want to, Chad. Like, Chad, like, it sounds so good, and people are crying. They cried. Michelle Obama got more praise than Oprah. Like, they clapped for her longer than Oprah. They are like almost like mesmerized by her. But as I'm watching, just with my own conservative lens, I know everything that she's saying is a lie, but I can't believe that these people still like believe it. Like, in a normal world, in a functioning society, Barack Hussein Obama and Michelle Obama would not be able to show their face. Like, seriously, that everybody knows that they did nothing to help the economy. They did nothing to boost Black communities. They did nothing to help nobody. And so the fact that people are still, like, Michelle went on tour and people loved her, and she's standing up there with, like, you know, like, you know, who's gonna tell him? Who's gonna tell him? And she got her black card while they calling us coons and Uncle Toms. Like, you know, it's amazing to me, and I just don't know how to tap into that. Chad, we need to tap into that. That's the secret sauce.
You got to give your soul to Satan, though.
Right.
That's true. That's true.
You live in Baltimore, so you live around the Blacks.
Oh, I live with the Blacks. Oh, God.
And
Oh
so
my
I guess that makes you the glorified, not glorified, dignified black whisperer, blackness whisperer.
I'm not black. Oh, but I speak black. Oh, I speak black.
Whereas I
Fluent.
have no interest. I have no interest whatsoever in appealing to somebody just sped by my house. I have no interest in catering to and pandering to and resonating with blackness at all. That doesn't mean conversely that I have an interest in resonating to quote unquote whiteness, whatever the hell that's supposed to mean. But, you know, I have no interest at all. But interestingly enough, you know, I get a lot of detractors who get into my comment sections. Oh, Chad, the only people that follow you is white folks. But interestingly enough, if you go through the comment section of any of my stuff on YouTube or IG or whatever, the most verbal supporters happen to be black.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And so for me, it's like I'm not tallying up how many white supporters I have versus how many black supporters I have. I couldn't care less. The town that I live in is majority black. It's about 53% black. And when I tell you that I can hardly get through the week, any week, without a black person running into me saying, hey, I recognize you from YouTube or I recognize you from IG. Keep going. I support what you're doing, this, that, and the third. Like for me, it's like, I think a lot of people, they're not caught under the spell of blackness anymore. A lot of people are waking up from that. And it's not because I call myself trying to be some kind of leader or some kind of activist or whatever the case may be. I tell the truth and I call it how I see it. And for that reason, I think that's what resonates with people. Some people you need to pander to. Some people you need to do what Barack and Michelle are doing up there, talking about, you know, Trump didn't like, what did Michelle say? Trump didn't like two successful who happen to be black. Like there's a lot of black people who that kind of rhetoric still resonates with them as if it's 2008.
Lots
right?
of black people.
And like for me, like, okay, I'm not going to stoop down to a level or pretend to be something that I'm not to reach those folks. You either get it or you don't. And a lot of people get it. You know what I'm saying? So it's like for me, I think for a long time, not to switch the subject up a little bit, but I guess I have no choice but to at this point. A lot of black Republicans still are trying to look and sound like the Obamas to reach black folks, thinking that's going to do something when the reality of it is, and we talked about this on the last Cutting Through the Culture show. In fact, I posted a reel about it this morning. When you look at the increase of blacks who will be voting for Trump this election cycle, it's not because of shisty, manipulative rhetoric. It's because of folks like Donald Trump, folks like Kevin Samuels and others, folks like Blanche, I would argue, who don't hold back, who isn't wishy-washy, who isn't fluffy in terms of what it is they stand for. No, they're principled men who believe in what they're saying, like it or leave it. And so that's I don't know. Like for me, when it comes to the Obamas, when I look at the Obamas juxtaposed to someone like Kevin Samuels, juxtaposed to someone like a Blanche Robinson, Barack and Michelle are fake compared to folks like Kevin Samuels and Blanche. And it's undeniable, just fake, just outright fake. That last clip of Barack Obama when he said, you know, we want to be a people who, what did he say? He said, we want to be a people. There's so much, division among us. There's so much political division and political strife. And we need to put an end to that. And then he proceeds to talk about how Donald Trump, he wants to do this and he wants to do that. And so he does the very thing that he just said we need to stop doing. And to me, it's like you can't unsee that. Like it's blatantly obvious. So the fakeness, the gaslighting, the projection, the downright wickedness, juxtaposed to someone like a Kevin Samuels and a Blanche Robinson, it's a night and day difference. And I think for that reason, a lot of people are seeing right through the Obama BS, and they're like, we don't want anything to do with that anymore. I think it's a growing number, Crystal, to be honest with you. And to me, like, there's nothing about, I don't know, like, I respect your opinion, but for me, there's nothing about the Obamas that strikes me as cool or charismatic. I see how, like, somebody did a study not too long ago where they looked at the Obama favorable news coverage over the past 16 years. And I think it was like somewhere around 89 or 92%. He received 92% favorable news coverage.
Yes.
Right. So the Obamas and their cool factor isn't something that's reminiscent of what they themselves are doing. Again, it's media built. And people, unfortunately, like the reason why Taylor Swift and all these others are able to sell out stadiums isn't because they are genuinely good artists. That's right. I said it. I said it and I'm going to stand by it. I tried listening to Taylor Swift's music. Not a fan. And it's not because I'm a hater. It's because the music is garbage, in my opinion. Some of y'all might think differently because of, sonically what the music does to your mind and brain and things of that nature. Okay. But the reason why she's able to sell out stadiums is because of the marketing that's built around her. That's true of most of these celebrities. And I would argue that the same thing is true of Barack Obama and Michelle Obama. It's not that they are cool in and of themselves. It's rather that the marketing that's built around the Obamas is such to where it convinces people that they are larger than life, that they are cool. It's not real. When you look at the meat and potatoes of what it is they're saying or what it is they represent, you'll see right through their garbage. And for me, it's like we are in a time where people just want the truth and they want the facts. And so that's what I try to give them. So
I wish that you were right. Like I really do. Like, Chad, I love what you're saying. And I do not disagree with what you're saying from my perspective, but everything that you're saying is just, it doesn't, I don't want to say irrelevant, but it kind of is irrelevant to the point of they have made it your taste and preference. So that's what marketing is. Like, so the fact that they have marketing, and it makes them cool, like they're still cool. You get what I'm saying? Like the fact that Yeezys are nice. No, they're not. They're the ugliest shoes ever, but you can't convince people that, and they pay hundreds of dollars for them. Like that's the fight that I don't think that people understand that we're in. I get it. I get that Michelle Obama, like with her own mouth, she said, my parents, my mom, who I love so much, is suspicious of people who took more than they needed. Like this is a woman sitting with $4 and $5 million houses, like $+ million houses, and she said that. That's why I say I'm not 100% sure that people are as smart as you and Blanche and me. I'm not sure that it's resonating because in a perfect world, people like Michelle Obama, Barack Hussein Obama, and, people like Jasmine Crockett and people like who have gotten rich off the backs of Black people, Roland Martin, they would be dismissed out of polite society. But unfortunately, they're not. They are considered cool and they are considered hip. And this media machine is so dangerous that they were able to convince us that this laughing, giddy is the coolest, larger than life, electrifying person, when literally a couple weeks ago we were saying how dumb she was. So I get what you're saying, that it's just media hype. However, the media hype are creating the palettes and the taste and preferences for the mass majority of people. And unfortunately, the mass majority of people are not as strong and not as sound and not as principled and not as smart and as courageous as you or Blanche or Kevin Samuels. And it's sad, but I don't think that it's unheard of. Like, I think that they are the bar. Like, you guys are y'all are the trailblazers. That's just my opinion. I don't know.
I see what both you all are saying. I will say this. I will say that there are probably more Black people that have woken up, in my opinion, since 2020. Is the number large? It's larger. Is it large? I don't think it's large. But I will say this. I saw Tracy Ellis Ross posted a 25-second video of her supporting Kamala Harris. And the comments on her video, everybody was like, I was reading, it was like Trump, Trump. She's like, they was like, y'all really selling out. Y'all showing your true colors. Trump, because to Chad's point, now people know when something isn't organic because people know, because we're in this viral age. Folks know organic viral versus you shoving it down my throat viral. And so when you start seeing all these celebrities, I mean, like hammering, like Ricky Smiley crying, Steve Harvey, like when you start seeing it, okay, everybody's like, well, come on now, y'all. Come on. Y'all didn't do this. Like, y'all doing too much. And so now when you have so many celebrities doing it, you know, after Obama, after a certain amount of celebrities, now folks know y'all capping. And so Tracy Ellis Ross tried to jump on the bandwagon and got kicked right off. They was lighting her up in the comments. All you saw was Trump, Trump, Trump. Y'all some sellouts, Trump, Trump. So her comments will be turned off pretty soon. You know, they turn the comments off when they start.
They do that. They sure do. They sure do.
But I will say that because we are in a social media age, and because people have consumed so much social media, they can pick up easier on what is organic and what is inorganic. And the problem is that it looks a lot more inorganic when you have celebrities coming off of their perch to talk about how great Kamala is to the common folk. People can see, like, people can really see right through it. Now, don't get me wrong, Crystal and Chad, there are people that all you have to do is check a few boxes. So you just got to be black, throw your fist up, and say you love Kamala. You don't want them over. But this little subsect that's vocal, the vocal subsect, don't care about none of that. They gonna talk crazy. They don't come to your post talk crazy. They don't care. You're gonna have to kick them off. You're gonna have to block them. So I do see more resistance to Kamala than I did Joe Biden.
Oh yeah.
Now, I see a lot more resistance. And this is one thing about black women. Let me tell you about black women real quick. Black women are so fake. Kamala Harris is not a woman that y'all would like. And y'all know that. Y'all know good and well the type of woman that Kamala is, y'all would not like at all. Matter of fact, y'all be like, look at this bee, who she thinks she is. She can't dress. Look at her shaped like SpongeBob. Y'all will be talking so bad about Kamala Harris, and y'all know y'all would. But now all of a sudden you're trying to make her like she's the diva and the queen and all. And y'all know good and well y'all like Kamala. No rhythm.
No rhythm.
Can't cook. I know she can't cook because no rhythm, can't cook. And if she in it, she probably wear deodorant. So she ain't wearing deodorant. So there's just a lot of things that Kamala, y'all wouldn't like Kamala. She got no swag. I would love to see. Corny. She's corny. I would love to see Kamala strolling with the AKAs. I would love to see it because y'all know good and well, rhythmless nation, she can't do it. Anyway, my point is, black women, you know good and well, under any other circumstance, Kamala Harris would be ostracized from the black girl clique, and y'all know it. She would not be part of the Cool Girls Club, and y'all know it.
Yeah. It's the whole truth. So I have so many of my close friends. I struggle even saying anything about her because I know people that know her personally. I have very close friends that are AKAs. And when I talk about Camilla, Camilla, I get a lot of pushback, so I'm always careful. But you're right, Blank. Like, she is corny. The whole giddy. I mean, like it is so like when I watched her when she was running for president against Joe Biden in the primary, like everybody could not stand her. Like, she was just giddy and weird. She's not pretty, but she's not ugly. She's just like, she is a lame in every sense of the black like culture. She would be considered lame. And now they're kind of the Chucks and the pearls. She's doing the whole sneakers with the pantsuits, and I've never seen, to your point, Chad, like, I know it's marketing, but I've never seen people just literally turn it on. I mean, it was off and then they turned it on. I know people personally this weekend, they're like, oh yeah, we're going to knock doors for Kamala. We're going to knock doors for Kamala. We're going to knock I'm like, what? Are you kidding me? I would never. But to your point, chat. It is the hype. It's the hype. It's the media. What? What?
What is it? I think you're muted, Chad.
No, he's trying to show it. He's trying to show it. You got to make yourself bigger. Make yourself bigger.
But he's muted though.
Sorry about that. I can't. I guess I can't make it bigger, but this is a text
No,
message.
make yourself bigger.
No, put yourself on the screen. Make
Put
yourself
Oh.
on the
Let me
screen.
see it.
Okay, let me see if I can't do that.
Okay, now do it.
Nah,
Closer.
it's too tiny.
Uh,
But anyway,
that person.
hello. This is Kamala Harris. I've I've heard so much about you from Ted Cruz, your senator, and I would love for you to join our campaign. And I just put LOL.
Not a green bubble. A green bubble. We ignore them texts anyway.
And then they said, and then she said, "Can we meet tonight?" Like, who's playing with me on my phone?
Seriously, it's playing games.
Kamala got an Android. She would have an Android though. like she would have an Android. Kamala would have an Android.
Yeah, and then y'all saw how she was like with Kai Cenat, the YouTuber, and then like they were reaching out to like that's all like that's corny. Like
The Secret Service was reaching out to him.
Yeah, like
he's like a Gen Z streamer or gamer.
Yeah, that only because Donald Trump did it. Like, sis, you gotta come up with something different. You gotta come up with a whole new like thing. But she don't got it. She ain't got it. She ain't got it.
She ain't got it.
She doesn't have the it factor.
No.
The je ne sais quoi.
No.
And that's the thing. I mean, Trump. I mean, like, granted, he has a whole career, a very sprawling career that existed in the media before he even ran for office. But when he did run for office, when he did come down that escalator and all the vitriolic hatred that he got from the mainstream media, he has 89 to 92% of disfavorable news coverage.
Yes.
Yeah.
And even with that, the fact that he does have the it factor and it does shine through. I mean, I've been to Trump events before and it's like, it is electrifying.
Oh, yeah.
It just is. And I don't get awestruck, and I didn't get awestruck when I met him, because I don't get bent out of shape for celebrities or anything like that. And I'm not trying to sound cool or anything like that. It's just I genuinely don't.
You're way cool though. You really are.
But yeah, Trump has that it factor. He's charming. He's witty. He isn't awkward. You know what I mean? And he's funny. He's very funny. And that's not something that you can buy. That's not something that, you know what I mean? Like, the media can make anybody look cool, and they're doing it with Kamala Harris. Like, think about it. Someone as lame as Kamala Harris, you have people in the audience at the DNC literally crying real tears, right? It's like, how does that happen?
That's disgusting.
And, you know, I have a great deal of compassion for them because they're like sheep without a shepherd.
Yeah.
They just are. And they're so credulous and so gullible and ready to believe whatever the media hand feeds them or spoon feeds them. And the same is true with Republicans too. I mean, yeah. Fox News is part of the Uniparty. They're part of this this controlled opposition. I mean, Fox News. It's not even a secret anymore, right?
Right.
I think you get real honest news coverage from such mediums like The Blaze, or
Real America's Voice,
Real America, Newsmax. But when it comes to like Fox News is very clearly, like very clearly. I mean, you all remember in 2020 during the flip of the switch, right? Because Trump was ahead, and then all of a sudden the switch flips. And then Obama edges Trump out. And then what does Fox News do in the same chorus as CNN and ABC and PBS? They all, at the drop of a hat, call it for Joe Biden.
Yep.
Fox News wasn't like holding off or anything like, nope. They flipped the switch too.
Oh, yeah.
So, like, to me, that was, I mean, yeah. So anyway.
And so for Trump to be surviving or even like thriving. When
exactly. Yeah. And that's my point.
Yeah, your point is just it's just a testament to you either got it or you don't. And I mean, like, in Trump, has it. I mean, I watched him at a rally the other week, or I don't know if you guys got a chance to listen to his Elon Musk speech. And it was just the way he was talking, it was just amazing. He's not combative. He's really in his normal, like, talking to somebody who respects him. He's very, very respectful. Now, if you want to try it and you're not respectable, you will get checked really quickly, like those national black journalists. You will get checked. But if he's just talking to you, like, I think he mentioned something about the oil. Elon Musk is just a liberal, and he was like, yeah, we're running out of oil. And I know Trump doesn't believe that, but he didn't like he wasn't combative. He was like, well, I don't think so. He's really just a nice, like, kind of like guy to kind of talk to, and the way the media has demonized him. And I'm speaking from my own personal experience. Like, I used to love Trump so much. I'm from New York. I'm from Brooklyn. I used to love this man. I watched every single season of The Apprentice. I wanted to go on The Apprentice. And the minute the media told me to hate him in 2016, I hated him with a passion. So so I get it. I get where these people are. I hope that God reveals what God needs to and pulls the wool from off of their eyes. But man, this thing is powerful to watch. To watch Michelle Obama and Barack Obama, and everybody knows that they literally destroyed our communities, like, and then they just go out there, and then she says, to bring it back to what the show is about, Michelle Obama says, I'm not asking you to vote. I'm telling you to vote for Kamala. If Trump has said that, y'all, if Trump has said that.
He's a slave master. See, we told you. He's trying to put you back in the field. Crazy.
All right, so let's get through some of these supers before we move on with the show. We got one from Azaria QS, super sticker, $5. Thank you. Really appreciate it, Azaria. We got one from Robert Lamoa. Says Kamala Harris. Let's see. Kamala Harris said she's an underdog in the election. I'm like, how? She got mainstream media, social media, Hollywood celebrities, and big woke corporations on her side. That's exactly how. That's exactly how. Thank you for the super chat. Got one from Super Smoke. Love you all. Thank you. Love you too. Appreciate it. And this isn't a super, but comment from Stimulated Students. Chad, I saw you at Big T Bazaar and you didn't say what's up. That wasn't me. I'm not even sure what Big T Bazaar is. So you saw somebody else.
It sounds very LGBTQ.
I know. Stimulated Students, tell it. Tell the truth one, Chad. Tell it.
I don't even know what that is. Big T Bazaar. I mean, I must have some doppelgangers out there.
Big trans bazaar.
Big trans bazaar. Okay, so let's see here. Let's get through some of these clips. These almost at Kamala clips, but they're actually. What did y'all think of Michelle's hairdo? By the way,
she did it for the nigglets.
For the culture. The braids.
For the culture. Just braids all down your back like the ratchet version of Rapunzel. Just
and then it was a little old, so she had to let you know that they had been in for a while.
Right.
Like she can't afford to get her hair done.
Right.
Girl,
Rapunzel. I'm trying to see if I can't pull it up. Let's see here. This might be it.
I'm gonna show it on IG.
Y'all, I struggled.
Yeah, it went all the way down to her lower back.
Yeah.
I struggle because I love me some Michelle and Barack. I can't. You
should stop saying that.
I know, but I'm sorry.
Lord, we rebuke that. We rebuke
it in the name of Jesus. I received the rebuke. Look, I need to just lift my hands right now. I received the rebuke. But I'm telling you, when I watched them, what she was saying was nauseating because I know it was a lie, right? But I liked them and I still liked them. Like, that's why I'm saying I get where these people are. Like what she's saying, she's so like, I don't know. It's weird.
Like my aunt, right? She's she's conservative, right?
Mhm.
But I know if she watched Barack and Michelle and she loved it, even though she ain't gonna vote, like
I'm
even
not
though she's not gonna vote for Kamala, she still like enjoys. I remember one time we was in the kitchen, I went back home to visit, and she was watching Fauci interview some people, and I'm like, "What you laughing at? I look over there." She just tickled by Fauci. I'm like, "He's a whole demon. Why you laughing at him?"
I watch MSNBC. I watch
so funny.
Yeah, I watch MSNBC. So I'm one of the conservatives.
Boy, hold on. You watch MSM? See,
Every day.
and what's her name? Why do I forget her name? She's on our show every Sunday. Keisha. So she said the same thing. Like, why do y'all black women, y'all black conservative women,
Keisha watches MSNBC?
She said she watches Joy Reid every night.
Oh, I don't like.
You don't remember that?
I don't like Joy.
Oh
Joy,
yeah, she did say she watched. Yeah.
But I do. Yeah, I do.
Probably not every night, but she says she watches Joy Reid, and it's like, why? Like, why do that to yourself? Like, why sit there and watch just lie after lie after lie after lie?
Well, here's the thing. Here's what I will say, Chad, is that we are in the fight. And so, somebody said Crystal is a plant. Look, I've been called worse, sweetie pie. I'm still waiting on the check if I am. Anyway, like, I'm in the fight. So when I talk to a lot of the people, my demographic, I have to be able to talk to what they're hearing. And when I say the people who I'm closest to, they're listening to MSNBC. So a lot of times I'm able to say to them what they heard on MSNBC. And I remember I was talking to this guy the other day and I had on MSNBC. He was like, I would never think that you would watch MSNBC. I said, yes. I think that conservatives, especially, we can get into what do you call it, an echo chamber. And so in order to keep myself out of that echo chamber and to almost like check what I believe every single time, I have to watch alternative media. I have to. And so I mean, I know a lot of people say, oh, well, how do you listen to lie after lie after lie? I mean, it don't affect me. I'm not the one lying. However, it does allow me to check, oh, that's a lie. That's a lie.
But that doesn't do anything to your blood pressure, though?
No, not at all. Unbothered by it. Because honestly, Fox News are liars. But I do find strength in watching people like Steve Bannon and watching Marjorie Taylor Greene and watching you guys cutting through the culture and watching. I find strength in those types of things. Don't get me wrong. But I have to keep my, you know how Camilla say, I got to be out here in these streets.
I don't know. That might work for you, but it would never work for me. I'm more like Chuck in that regard. Namely the fact that I've studied enough of like the history, how marketing works, how propaganda works, to where you know what they're about to say before they even say it. So it's like, for me, like, you know, people think like whenever I put together these montages that I'm sitting here watching this stuff and like, okay, that's a memorable moment. Let me grab that. Or I remember when I was watching MSNBC, so-and-so said such and such. So let me pull that. Like, no, if I have a topic in mind, all I need to do is go on Google and type in that topic. And sure enough, the videos and the clips are going to start pouring in, and I just chop it up and put it into my montage. It's very easy. And so it's not like I'm having to consume this, because that's the thing. It's like, I know when it comes to the topic of white supremacy, right? I know Roland Martin said something on it. I know so-and-so said something on it. I know such and such said something on it. So I just type in Roland Martin, white supremacy. A myriad of videos will come up. I will then go to those videos, click on transcript, type in white supremacy, and it will take me right to the timestamp in which he mentions it, and I'll listen to it. I'm like, yep, that will be good for the montage. Put it in, boom. That's because like I know what they're going to say without necessarily having to listen to them to say it, or to listen to them every night or what have you. So I mean, I get it, because like as a researcher, it's necessary for me to be up on what's going on, so on and so forth. But I'm a firm believer in the fact that there's nothing new under the sun. When it comes to any crisis that comes up, any topic that comes up, any whatever, that the mainstream media is going to operate in lockstep and have the same talking points. And 10 times out of 10, their talking points are going to be Marxist in nature. So again, it's a fact of, you know what they're going to say before they say it, and without fail, that's what ends up happening time and time again. If you watch our Cutting Through the Culture shows every Sunday, you'll notice that the word Marxism or communism keeps coming up. Why? Because that is the undergirding ethic of everything these folks believe in, and you don't have to look hard to find it. Barack Obama's speech was laden with Marxism, and so too was Michelle Obama's. And I can, again, I did listen to those speeches because I needed to chop them up. I did listen to those in their entirety, but again, you don't have to look far to find it. When it comes to what you're saying, Crystal, namely that you're speaking Blackanese when you speak to these people.
Oh yeah.
So you need to understand how, like, what it is they are consuming, so you can then, like, say, you remember when so and so said such and such, and you're able to kind of recount back what they said. I get what you're saying, but at the same time, I guess where I would differ from that is, rather than echoing back what they heard and trying to dismantle it, like since I was a little kid, I've always appreciated authenticity, and I think you would agree with that. I always appreciated authenticity, especially when it came to like different cultures. Like, I had a friend growing up who came from a traditionally Mexican culture. Every time I went to his house, it smelled good because his mother or grandmother was cooking. They were a very strong family-oriented family, and so whenever the grandmother came into the room, one of the young boys would get up so she can sit down. They were just being themselves, their authentic selves, and I appreciated and respected that. I respected that more so than my friend. I'm not going to say his name because he might be watching, but there was a white boy who was a friend of mine. I went to his house. Their parents were going through a divorce, and his mother would try so hard to be cool, and she would put on like the latest hip hop music, and she would do this and do that, and it was just so inauthentic to me that it was kind of like a cringe going to her house. So I appreciated more the authentic family of my Hispanic friend, and I kind of disdained the inauthentic white mother who was trying to fit in with her son and his young friends. So translating that into like now as an adult, when it comes to this kind of stuff I talk about on social media and YouTube, when it comes to the real life conversations I'm having with people, rather than trying to find some kind of mutual ground or trying to like be up on the latest thing that they are into, like, I'm being my authentic self and talking about the things as I know them. And it's like, oftentimes what I find is that people resonate with that. Like, people are like actually listening to the things that I'm saying because they're interested in the things I'm saying. I'm not trying to say that I'm people should listen to me, but I'm saying, like, when you're being authentic and you're having conversations, rather than like referencing things that they're like, I'm not going to pull a Michael Eric Dyson and quote the latest Jay-Z song to reach people who may or may not listen to Jay-Z, because that's not who I am. He's being inauthentic, and I refuse to stoop to that. And I'm not saying that you are being inauthentic because you went to an HBCU, you have proximate familiarity with the people that you're talking to. I don't have proximate familiarity with people who are stooped in so-called Black culture, and so it would be inauthentic for me to try to say things or whatever, or try to resonate with Brock or Michelle, because and the thing about that, anyway, I've been rambling. I'm not going to get into that, but yeah, I wanted to say something about Barack and Michelle, but again, I've had the floor for a long time, so I'll pass it back to you all.
No, I appreciate you saying that. No, I don't feel inauthentic when and I didn't feel like you were calling me that. Like, I actually struggle because I stopped being Black last year. So I'm coming up on my like non-Black.
You're recovering. You're recovering from Black.
No, I haven't been Black almost a year now. So
I've been sober for about 6 months.
But let me tell you that what do you call it? Like that little residue That residue. When I say I got some bliggity black residue, I'm telling you, I had the whole like all seasons of Girlfriends. I went to HBCU. I grew up in Brooklyn, New York. All my friends is black. All my friends is black. So I got that residue. And so, but what we are talking about is culture, like it's cultural, but I'm still very much, I realized how conservative, even though I might talk the talk, I could even walk the walk. I am a conservative, like a starch conservative, because we're talking about values versus culture. Those are very different things. And you actually brought that up, Chad, like a person's values. And like, I don't believe in abortion. I believe in marriage between the man and the woman. I believe in the Bible, the inherent word of God. And I can do all these things and consume ridiculousness. Unfortunately, I probably should consume less, but I can watch it and not be affected, and my values not be affected at all, because I'm just so solid in what I believe in, who God made me to be. So I don't feel inauthentic at all. I feel entertained when I watch MSNBC.
Well, I was listening to UGK today. I'm just proud. Tim just said it. I was bumping it today, though.
Are you like being funny, or are you real?
Which song?
Oh man, Wood Will. Let me see it. Chop Blades. Murder. I listened to a whole bunch of songs. I listened to the.
What's the one that they did with Outkast? Or did they do several with Outkast?
Oh, International Players.
Yeah, I do like that one.
Yeah, I listen to that. All of them.
I like it mostly
I'm
for.
I'm a UG.
I like it mostly. I like it mostly for Andre 3000's and Big Boy's verse, but
yeah,
I like it mostly for Pimp C's verse. I'm a Pimp C fan. Pocket Full of Stones, that Dirty Money. Yeah, they people. Yeah, I'm listening to
Dirty Money.
Listen to Riding Dirty. Okay, listen to Riding Dirty album. But again, though, like I've tried to weed out all of my secular music. It's difficult though. Because I just
it's hard.
It's hard. I get the urge.
Somebody that said they're shocked that I like the International Players Anthem song. I grew up being a fan of Outkast, so I liked specifically Andre because of how different he was than your average tall tee wearing rapper. Yeah, y'all don't remember the tall tee phase, do y'all?
The who?
The tall tee phase.
Oh yeah, I was
tall tees and cornrows. And,
I know tall tees. Oh yeah. The long tees.
Yeah,
used to do it all the time.
And Outkast wasn't doing that, so I appreciated that about them.
I did like Outkast. I wasn't a huge rap girl, but I like rap. The ones that are usually on the radio. I'm kind of like a radio listener to rap, not hardcore, but
cool. All right, so let's get into some of these clips. Let's see.
I was doing the lean with it. I was doing
it's the residue. It's the residue, Chad. I'm sorry.
Got a little black residue on your upper lip. All right.
And my father didn't aspire to be wealthy. In fact, they were suspicious of folks who took more than they needed. They understood that it wasn't enough for their kids to thrive if everyone else around us was drowning. Those were the values my mother poured into me until her very last breath. Kamala Harris and I built our lives on those same foundational values.
It's the clap.
So her mom was like, "Don't be rich. Don't take more than you need."
Me, y'all.
With her dying breath, don't take more than you need, Mike.
And every time you saw,
she alive.
Yeah, she's lying. Michelle's mother lived in the White House
That's
with
what I was
Barack and
about to say.
Michelle.
She
And
lived
every time
with them.
Exactly, in the White House, mind you. And not only that, every time, like, when you juxtapose that to the Trumps, like Melania didn't even live at the White House, and I know Trump wasn't there. Like, he was there to do official government business, but he spent a lot of his time at Mar-a-Lago, if I'm not mistaken. So they weren't like they weren't flexing at the White House like the Obamas were doing. You had Valerie Jarrett, of course. Valerie Jarrett was on his staff, but you had his mother-in-law that was there, who was basically basking in the fact that she's the mother-in-law of the president of the United States. And every time you saw her, whether it be like a clip or whatever, she's wearing like luxury, high-end brands like clothing, with very expensive handbags and purses. Like, this is who the woman is, who Michelle Obama is trying to convince us taught her not to take more than your fair share. I mean, give me a break.
I don't know near niglet that don't want to be rich. I don't know. No, I've never met him. All this, my parents didn't aspire to be rich. If they could have, they would have. Trust me.
Suspicious. Oh, okay. With your 5 houses, sis. What she got? No, it's 4. She got one on. They got one in Hawaii. They got one in Chicago, DC, and
Martha's Vineyard.
Martha's Vineyard.
So Crystal, based on what she just said, do you believe she believes what she's saying?
Oh yes, wholeheartedly. Let me tell you something.
You just said she got 4 mansions.
I don't believe it. No, come on now,
I
Crystal.
believe that let me tell you, one thing you always say, Blanche, is black folks, they are unprincipled. So she said that with a straight face. She meant exactly what she said. Like, even though everybody knows it. Y'all.
No, she didn't. I don't know if it's because you're a woman, Crystal.
I'm telling you, preachers, black preachers will tell people you need to give to the poor and put your offering in and they really mean it. I'm telling you, black folks, and Blanche, you say this all the time, and I believe.
No, don't do that. Don't do that, Standard of Truth. Don't do that, April Chapman. I see you in the comment section. Don't be agreeing with Crystal on this.
Thank you, April. They are unprincipled. They really believe in their heart.
They're unprincipled, yes. But yes, that goes without saying. But that doesn't mean that she doesn't know that she's being deceptive and manipulative.
She's not being deceptive and manipulative, not at all.
Crystal, she has 4 mansions.
I know she knows that, but I'm telling you. Okay, let me tell you something. I'm gonna defend my point. Oprah Winfrey went up there and talked about not having enough. And she started a school, like seriously, she started a school over in Africa. And when I say people were killing her when she said she started a school over in Africa, you think that convicted her to start a school or do anything here? No, they really think that they are doing what is best or helping people, like they really do.
Crystal,
Oprah.
Crystal, you are talking about. So listen, Crystal, it's Satan, it's fallen angels, it's demons, and it's Barack and Michelle and Oprah and Gail and all. Like you talking about people in the food chain of destruction and damnation.
I don't disagree. I do not disagree. I do not disagree with you. But you guys,
the food chain of destruction and damnation.
Let me tell you something. That deceptive demon. Unfortunately, people fall for it, and they're in their own deceptive. I mean, look at Gavin Newsom. Like he said, this is the best state in America. We got everything, and everybody's sitting there like, y'all have homeless people sleeping on every block in California, and he just says it with a straight face. And I really am thinking that this deceptive spirit have taken over them. I do not believe that Michelle Obama is lying. I do not believe that Barack Obama is lying. I do not believe that any of them thinks that they are lying to the people.
I think they know they're lying. I mean, I don't
Okay,
buy it.
okay,
I'm,
so
like, I'm
okay.
not going to give them the benefit of the doubt, Crystal. I refuse. I refuse. And I
Okay,
rebuke
okay,
everything you
Crystal.
just said too.
I receive it.
Okay, Chris, that's all I'm saying. I'm gonna let it go. Okay, let's say that her mother really did say on her in her dying breath, "Baby, don't take too much," and then she croaked out.
Mhm.
Even if her mother said that,
Mhm.
she doesn't agree with her mother. So so what I'm saying is like, even though her mother said that, she doesn't agree that she shouldn't
By
have it.
virtue
Now,
of her actions.
yeah, you know what I'm saying? Now, I will agree that when Michelle Obama is saying don't take too much, she's saying that to us. That's a message for us, but she ain't talking about herself.
I believe that I think that black people feel like they are talking, she feels like she is talking about other people. Like, this is a person who talks about President Trump, and God bless President Trump. President Trump, they talk about all the money that his father loaned to him. But I know people whose fathers have given them things and they haven't built a single thing. Unfortunately, Barack Obama and Barack Hussein Obama and Michelle Obama, they feel like they got their wealth through hard work. Like, they really don't understand that, like, they are part of the problem. They are the problem. They don't feel like that. They feel like they are for the culture. They feel like they give to nonprofits. They feel like they go do speaking engagements, and they have done their just duty to the world. These people are narcissists, and y'all are trying to say that they are purposefully doing it. But I know a lot of narcissistic individuals. This is not on purpose. They literally are disconnecting themselves from their words. They are.
Crystal, do you not realize that you're giving these people a pass?
I don't think I'm giving them a pass.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
are.
A pass.
You are.
I
You're
don't
giving
think
them in an inadvertent way. You are giving them a pass because you're saying that they are operating merely from a place of insanity and not a place of intention. And the reality is, huh? Go ahead.
No, go ahead. No, you go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I literally do not think that these people are smart enough to be as intentional as we think they are. I really do believe that. I really think that they are not smart enough to be as intentional. They are allowing the enemies to use them. And I really do not believe that they don't believe what they're saying. I don't believe
But Crystal, listen though, it doesn't take an extremely high IQ to know when you are lying. My children know when they're lying. I mean, my kids, my daughter in particular, when she was 3 years old and she did something she wasn't supposed to do. And I asked her, did you do this? And you can see the whole demeanor on her face change as she begins to lie. Because God has written his truth on our hearts. It's on the hearts of all men. And when we say something that's not the truth, we are in fact lying. That's deception. We're being deceivers. And so whenever Barack Obama, Michelle Obama is up there saying things and constantly contradicting themselves and projecting and doing all the things they do, I believe that they know exactly what they are doing. They are saying things that are not true. They are accusing Trump of doing things that they themselves have done multifold. This notion that they don't know what they're doing, that they are just saying it because they're genuine believers in what it is they're trying to do. I mean, yes, I do believe that they're genuine believers in what they're trying to do, but I also believe that they know that they're lying, that they know that they're being manipulative, that they know that they're being deceptive. I'm not willing to give them the pass that they see themselves in a better light than what the truth is. And so when they say that, for example, when Barack Obama says that, oh, Trump just wants to separate families, when we all know that Barack Obama did that very thing the 8 years he was in office, I believe that Barack Obama knows that that's what he did. So while he's accusing Trump of doing that, I believe that he knows that he himself did that. Barack Obama deported the most illegal immigrants
Yep.
than any other president in history.
Yep. That's a fact.
He knows that. He knows that record is his. So the fact that he's up there projecting and gaslighting, I know that that's in the back of his mind, that his record is what his record is. And I don't know. I don't believe that he doesn't think that he's being manipulative and deceptive. By the way, just switching the subject a little bit. Did y'all hear that George Bush may be speaking tonight at the DNC?
Don't get me upset.
Yeah. And I haven't been. I've never been a fan of George Bush. Even though I'm a conservative, I've never been a fan of George Bush or the Bushes in general, dating as far back as George Herbert Walker Bush. But yeah, it's rumored that George Bush is speaking tonight at the DNC, endorsing Kamala Harris.
The uniparty, the uniparty, and it's so sad. I honestly, you guys, y'all, I don't care what y'all say in the comments, but I feel bad for Kamala, like for Camilla. I feel bad for her because I see it so many times. Because with this whole DEI and diversity, equity, and inclusion, and they put these people who are incapable. Like everything about her record when she was a prosecutor was terrible. Her upbringing, she's just not smart. She's not a smart person. I mean, like she's just not. And like they propped her up because she represented whatever they thought she did, and she cannot do the job. She cannot compete, and we are going to suffer for it. But they do that all the time. They literally put all these Black women in these high positions, harassing people. Like they are usually tyrants if they're a boss. There's a whole like hashtag Black woman, female boss, like, or something like that, and they're always the worst bosses ever. They ruin your life. They're mean, they're vindictive, and people keep propping up these Black women who are incapable, and they expect them to perform, and when they can't perform, they get mean, they get nasty, and that's what's going to happen with Camilla. She can't do the job. So I honestly feel bad for her. I feel bad for our children, and I feel bad for us.
She doesn't have any children.
I said our children.
Oh, I thought you said her children.
Yeah, she ain't got no children, y'all. That should have been a number one indicator. Ain't nobody trying to procreate with that.
But Crystal, I think that her job, she'll do well in destroying the country. Like to me, she's not becoming president to be the actual president. She's coming to destroy the country. So I think she'll be very successful at that. I don't feel sorry for Kamala because even if I was hired for a job and I wasn't qualified, it's still bad character on my part to even accept the position. Like if I know I'm not qualified, why would I accept the position? And so to do that is to be deceiving, manipulative, because I'm not qualified. So what you're saying is that she's taking a position and inevitably she's going to be this tyrant. And people have already said they don't like working up under her. People have already complained about her anyway. People have left, a lot of people have left even working up under her. But I don't know, Chris. I think these people are a lot more. What I know about Black people is Black people, when you talk to most Black folks, they know.
Yeah.
They know. Like the light is on inside. Now, what they do is they weigh what you're telling them versus their life. How is what Crystal telling me, how's it going to affect my life? So if I agree with Crystal and I take it back to my friends and family, how are they going to treat me? So these people know what the quote unquote right path is or what to do. They just know it's going to cost them something. They don't want to lose that social leverage. But when it comes to Kamala, and we should have knew about Bush because it was Bush, Clinton, and Obama doing a vaccine commercial talking about, so they was all buddy teamed up like the three amigos, the three amigos of death. They got together and told the world that, whatever but anyway, my point is that Kamala has been a manipulator, deceiver this entire time. from the days of Howard, probably, you know. So she's a master at this. This is not nothing that's new for her. This is she's playing the game. She knows how to do it. I just think that these people, Crystal, are a lot more shrewd and cunning than you think. Like these people are, I guarantee, Crystal, if you were in a room with Barack and Michelle and Kamala and nobody else is in there and they were talking to you, they would be talking to you like, you better shut your mouth. We got a good thing going. We trying to get I'm telling you, listen, they would not be playing with you, Crystal. Trust me. It wouldn't be no. They wouldn't be trying to convert you. They'd be like, listen, you want to live? You see what you saw happen to the chef, right?
I know, the poor chef, the swimmer chef drowned.
Just drowned, right. Drowned in the bathtub.
Nah, I guess I mean you guys could be right. I guess I've been around a lot of Black folks and you know, a lot of them are not smart. They're just riding this. They're riding this sucker till the wheels fall off. They literally like the whole Black girl magic. You know, like it's just they just going with it. Oh yeah, I'm smart. I'm this. I'm that. And they're not. They're not. I've worked with them. I've seen them. They are some of the most incompetent, unprincipled people. They ruin people's lives all the time, locally, on the job, any nonprofit. Let me tell you something. If you see a nonprofit and a Black person is on it, you better head for the hills. I swear for God. Like I'm just saying, like they ruin people's lives and they just riding this monkey till the wheels fall off.
But Crystal, I'm telling you, they know.
We know what comes next.
Go ahead, Blanche. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
Now, unfortunately, we know what comes next. We know folks are going to do everything they can to distort her truth. My husband and I sadly know a little something about this. For years, Donald Trump did everything in his power to try to make people fear us. His limited, narrow view of the world made him feel threatened by the existence of two hardworking, highly educated, successful people who happen to be Black. Who's going to tell him that the job he's currently seeking might just be one of those Black jobs?
Crystal, come on.
So Crystal, like, what about that is cool? Like, look at this face. What about this is cool? I'm genuinely curious.
She will resonate with most Black women, most Black men, because that's how they talk. Like literally, like y'all saw Simone Biles was doing the same thing. Simone Biles was like, oh, I love my Black job. So it's just kind of the culture. Like it's like, oh, you know, you're the meme that was going around when Camilla got coronated. They were like, did somebody say Black job? Like, so she's relating to what they are saying. And I have so many Democrat friends that I like on Facebook. So I see what they're posting. Mind you, they see what I'm posting too. But I see what they're posting and it resonates with them. Y'all are not Black, so y'all don't get it. I'm telling you, the old looking braids, her braids look like they're like she can't afford to get like a new braid, like new braids. Her old looking braids, the swoop on the side. Hold on, the swoop. The swoop, y'all. Like it does. I hate to say it, but when I watched Michelle Obama, her new grow is out. Exactly, her new growth is out. She put some mousse on that bad boy and laid it down. It resonates to Black women, and unfortunately, white women desperately want to relate to Black women too. So that's why you got the white women in there crying, and it is just a circus.
Crystal, that part in her hair is fake. Yeah, she got a part where ain't even no hair. Look at where the part starts. That part in her hair is fake. That's by a barber. You see that? There's no way her hair is split. There's no hair right there. Look at this part. This is a razor part.
yo, she got that comb, the one that like point, and you got to start the part. Everybody knows this. Every black girl knows this. You start your part right here. You start your part right here, so you can get it real straight, the place that you want to go. That is not a wig. That is her real hair, and she got the little new growth out. I'm telling
That's
you.
the part. Crystal, that I didn't got parts in my head before, Crystal. You can't part the edge where ain't no hair at. Crystal, look, there's no hair. Look at the part. Look at her scalp. Look, come on, no.
I'm telling you. You part that thing right here, and you just so happen to have the mark. Whenever I do my daughter's hair and I want to get it right in the center, I start right here and I use my comb and I put it right there.
Can y'all see this part in this woman's head? Can y'all see this part in Big Mike? Look at.
Thank you. Nick Speak says I'm not lying. Thank you. You have to understand the culture.
Chad, do you see where this part is starting, Chad? There's no hair. Chad, there's no hair there.
I see it.
I don't see any hair.
The person who started it.
It's a part, Chad. It's a part.
Yes. And then they moose down. Look, they moose down the little baby hairs where she had right here. They moosed it down because she had those braids in for a long time. So in order to get your old braids to lay down, you got to get some mousse. You put the mousse on top of it, and then you tie it up with a wrap. And you let it last until you get dressed and put your makeup on, and then you take it out right before.
I'm not convinced that she had those braids in for the weeks leading up to the convention. I think she had the braids put in the day before.
Okay, I'm just saying. Either way, she has the look like.
Do y'all realize that, like, I don't know if y'all noticed this, but whenever Obama was running for president in 2008. 2007 going into 2008, she wore like her natural hair, right? I don't know if y'all remember that. She wasn't
here, but I hear you.
I'm saying like her do was such to where it was just kind of a conservative hairdo.
Her doobie, right. Yeah, she had her doobie wrap. She had the wrap.
Let's pull up some pictures because she didn't have no. What are you saying?
Wrap. Yes, it was a doobie. It's called a doobie wrap. It was.
I don't know what that is.
Her rap was rapping, so it was real. Like it was real conservative looking. So yeah, it was like a doobie wrap. So now I guess she's out of office. She can wear her braids. Sis, go ahead, sis.
Doobie wrap is, but okay.
You gotta see it. I'm telling you.
Okay, here we go.
Google Michelle Obama's doobie wrap. You'll see what I'm talking about.
Yeah, no. So let's see.
Right. Edna said Melinda said she never wore ethnic styles. Yeah, it was like very conservative.
Yeah, that's my point. That's my point. So this was pretty much her hairdo.
Yeah.
Back then.
Boy, she like Mike in that picture.
But my point is that she doesn't start wearing braids until like later into the second Obama term, and I don't know. I think that is kind of, and I could be wrong. I'm interested in hearing your guys' opinion, but I think that is indicative of this fact that you are normalizing kind of this ratchet culture. Like with the braids and all this, the long braids that go all the way down to your lower back, which looks to me, I think it looks comical. It doesn't, like, there's nothing attractive about it. I don't know. As a man, there's nothing about that that's attractive to me. You don't only see black women doing it. You see other ethnicities doing it too. There's all these braids that, where 89% of the hair that you have is not yours.
Listen,
are men really into that?
I mean, I like braids, but can I say this about? Hold on, this is.
There's nothing wrong with braids, but why the
amount of hair? Like why the whole?
It's a weave too. Like somebody said, that's a weave. Like I told you, she never wore her real hair.
Chad, put that back up so I can see. Just point out something real quick. Quick.
That's big.
Okay, hold on. Let me. All right.
April said on vacation you need braids. It's the truth, Chad.
I'm not hating on braids. I'm
like
talking
braids.
about the
I like braids.
excessive,
I don't do
like
braids. I don't
all
like
of the hair. Like, okay, so what's the appropriate length, Blanche, for braids? What's the appropriate length?
I mean, I would say probably. Well, I mean, what's the race? Because if it's black, it's down to the floor. I mean,
Hey.
you know. Well,
I don't do braids, but I'm with it.
If it's a black girl, ain't no, there's no cutoff on the length.
No cutoff on the length.
Yeah. But just okay, y'all remember Captain Planet? This she look like right there. She look like Captain Planet.
Blanche.
She do look like Captain Planet. This picture. Look, she does. Look.
She does.
And then, look at them. Look at them traps. This is Big Mike, y'all. Look at the traps.
Leave her alone.
Look at the jawline. That's Big Mike, y'all. Y'all, that's Big Mike.
Y'all, no. Honest to God, I'm starting to like. Did y'all see that Tucker video where it was talking about Big Pharma and it was talking about how we have been infiltrated with estrogen, so all of our food, all of our meats, all of our water, everything is like we've got like so much estrogen going on, and how a lot of these men, the transgender movement is coming from like the excess of estrogen. So I don't know, y'all. I don't know. I don't want to say that woman a man.
No, listen. I'm not saying she is a man. I'm simply saying that this picture, if I was to ever say Exhibit A in the courtroom, this would be the picture with the traps and the Captain Planet face and the hair, all that. Yeah, that's all.
Blanche.
I was in court. I picked that picture.
And then so look at this. Like it goes all the way down to like her lower back, and it's all bundled up and like
it was old. Like it's old.
This is inappropriate for any race, for any ethnicity. I'm not making fun of black women wearing braids just for the sake of making fun of black women wearing braids, but like this is not an attractive hairdo. Like where is this appropriate?
I don't know. I think Chad, at a certain amount of influence.
But what I'm saying though, Crystal, is that she would not have worn this hairdo in 2008 when they were trying to win the election.
No, she
now
wouldn't.
that they are solidified and positioned as the coolest thing in America because of marketing, lest we forget, she can now wear this hairdo and normalize ratchet looking aesthetic, and that's where you get this hairdo.
It's the marketing. It's the marketing that we were talking about.
Yeah. As a man, this is unattractive. I don't know. Blanche might think differently, but for me,
I didn't say I like this. I didn't like this 90% yaki in her head. I say I like braids. I don't know what this is. This is some other stuff.
But at a certain amount of money and influence, it really doesn't matter what's attractive. Like she will make this attractive. That's what people are like. I mean, like that's what I'm trying to say is like people are looking at her and nobody is looking at her hair. Like they're just looking.
No, they're going to copy this style.
Huh?
They're going to copy.
Oh yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, no, that's what I mean. Like nobody's critiquing her hair. Let me say that. Like they are just mesmerized by her. Period.
The big Mike braid, the big braid, the big Mike.
And I've seen people with this style, Chad. Like this is not an unusual style. Just so you know. It shouldn't
be on a major political stage. It has no place in that on the stage. But hey, these days anything goes. I guess
standards. They have no standards.
These days anything goes. I mean, apparently you can get Meg Thee Stallion up on a campaign stage twerking. So I mean, I'm not surprised by any of it.
Did you see Kamala Harris's stepdaughter?
Oh yeah, she's out of control. Yeah, she's a.
So I mean, like look at her stepdaughter. So I mean, like Michelle Obama's braids is like.
But the thing is, I'm not going to qualify as one as being more appropriate than the other. To me, both are equally inappropriate. Both are equally. I don't know. Like for me, it's not. You can call me the old, get off my lawn kind of dude, and to a large degree, that's what I am. You know what I
You
mean? I
are
like everything clean cut,
old.
like everything, looking well proportioned and straight lines, and that's the way that I am. Everything that looks weird and abstract and kind of kooky, I'm not into it.
Which is
So
hard to believe because you're like a plumber.
what's that mean?
Like, I don't know.
Your
You
standards
just
should be low.
Yeah, no. That is not what I meant. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like usually, like people like you wouldn't care about that kind of stuff. But I guess you can say you do because like I think plumbing is sort of art. Like when you cut that stuff, it's gotta be perfect and stuff.
Yeah, so that's why I was like, what do you mean? Like,
Yeah.
if you look up, let's see here, I'm about to share screen. So like, I got so many tabs open, so this probably won't even. All right, so if you look up, I don't know if y'all can see this, but these are like plumbing systems, like straight
Yeah.
lines. Everything has a place. Everything has. I mean, this is very intricate stuff.
Yeah.
Everything again has a place. You got hot, you got cold, you got vent, you got sewer, you got like everything has a rhyme and reason to it.
Yeah.
This is a system right here. It's a tankless water heater. Over down here, you have the expansion tank. I don't know if y'all can see this.
Yeah, it's cool.
But like, my point is
A tankless
like
water
if anybody has any standards in terms of what is like the functionality of a thing, how it looks aesthetically, and how it functions practically, it's a plumber, it's a tradesman, it's somebody who works in the mechanical industry. And by mechanical, I mean not cars and automotive, but mechanical in terms of HVAC, plumbing, and electrical. These are the things behind the walls in the attic, in the basement that you don't see, but causes the house to function as a living, breathing thing. So yeah, I mean, plumbers, like we are very mechanically minded in that respect, and things that look weird, things that are off kilter, things that don't have any function or rhyme or reason, we question why, and we want to, I don't know. So yeah, the all I'm saying is like the left. So the left, they accuse everything that we talk about in terms of like family values, in terms of working hard to make a living, in terms of being entrepreneurial and things like that. Black leftists call what we do respectability politics, namely that it's up to you to, as Booker T. Washington said, cast down your bucket where you are. Nobody's going to give it to you. Socialism isn't going to give it to you. It's up to you to make your own way in this life. Black leftists call that respectability politics. And in its place, they try to promote accept me for who I am, accept my blackness, accept my afro, accept my untraditional clothing. And no, like in all seriousness, this is what they were doing in the 1970s, where they were letting it all hang out. Was a slang back then. Let it all hang out. Go your own way. This is what they were pushing, the spirit of self-indulgence. And they were leaning into their quote unquote blackness. And it wasn't genuine blackness. It was more or less a costume that they're wearing. So they started wearing, growing their hair out into big afros. They started wearing dashikis and bell bottoms and things of this nature, because they were putting on a black costume because they wanted to break away from what they perceived to be the old stuffy, straight line, Eurocentric kind of clean
rebellion.
aesthetic.
Rebellion.
Yeah, they were rebelling against that clean aesthetic way of showing up in the world. And it wasn't like, and you might call what they were, not you, Crystal, I'm just saying the generic you might call what they're breaking away from being whiteness. But when you look at old pictures of Nat King Cole, when you look at old pictures of Louis Armstrong, when you look at old pictures of
even
Duke
James
Ellington
Brown.
and others. Yeah, even James Baldwin. I mean, they were
Brown.
wearing, oh yeah, James Brown. They were wearing nice conservative outfits and clothing and things of this nature. And so, and it looked good. It looked masculine. It looked attractive. But when you start like letting it all hang out, not having any care for how you show up in the present, or I sound like Kamala, how you show up, You know what I mean? It
Unburdened by what has been.
it causes a societal decline. And I feel like that's what they're doing when they rail against what they call respectability politics. They don't want for there to be a standard of excellence. They want to lower the bar significantly because they understand the chaos that will ensue. I'm hoping what I'm saying makes sense.
Yeah.
No, I just love that you talk about clean juxtaposed by the fact that you deal with.
Well, there's I mean, just to, I guess, enlighten you. So when it comes to plumbing is one of those industries that has various.
Leave me alone.
Tenants.
Leave me alone, Ted. I do not need you carrying me right now. That was a joke and it was funny.
Not entirely. So when it comes to plumbing, you got your service plumbers. Yes, they do deal with human feces. Well, they don't even deal with human feces. I mean, the thing is, you might unclog a toilet or you might repair a sewer line or whatever. But the fact, I don't know, it's very fascinating and interesting to me how like the trades get such a negative stigma in terms of all plumbers do is deal with doo-doo all day. It's like, no, it's actually like I'm not even going to tell y'all what my day went like, but it's actually very, very fascinating stuff. I mean, you're basically installing systems that causes people's water to work, like to have potable drinking water and hot showers and things of this nature. So you're not dealing with people's doo-doo all day.
I'm messing with. Okay. All right, y'all. I am messing with.
I know you joke. I mean, I know you joke.
I have such a great respect for what you do. I know that you deal with hot water heaters, and I know that I had to just pay one of my plumbers a lot of money to deal with my garbage disposal. Like, I know you deal with other things than doo-doo. But I was just messing with you.
My background, somebody asked, my background is new construction. So I got my start as an apprentice out of high school. And we were building a maximum security jail in downtown Fort Worth, Texas, a 5-story maximum security jail. And from there, I was transported to build a large hospital, 18-story hospital in downtown Dallas. And then from there, I went and I worked on Kyle Field, which is Texas A&M's football stadium. We completely renovated that stadium. And then from there, I went and worked at University of Texas at Dallas. We were building a new chemistry lab there. So that was my apprenticeship, 5 years apprenticing. And then I was able to take and pass my journeyman test. And then a year later, I was able to take and pass my master plumbing license. And then with my master plumbing license, I was able to start a business at 25. So yeah, I mean, plumbing is just, it's one of those.
You see how he flexed?
I know. Why is he trying to carry me right now? Like, I know you. Look, I love plumbers. I pay them a lot of money. I pay them plumbers a lot of money. But yes, and I know a lot of commercial plumbers. Like actually, some of the people that I worship with and my worship team, they do plumbing work for commercial offices. So I know it's a lucrative business. I don't need you carrying me. My joke was still funny.
So yeah, the hairdo is not doing.
Somebody said, "Where's Keisha when you need her?" I'm filling in. Look, Keisha the queen. You got me tonight. Keisha's still the queen.
Americans don't believe government can help. And as we gather here tonight, the people who will decide this election are asking a very simple question. Who will fight for me? Who's thinking about my future, about my children's future, about our future together? One thing is for certain, Donald Trump is not losing sleep over that question.
Like Donald Trump stole the money somewhere.
No, what's interesting about that to me is like when you listen to what he's saying, as far as like Americans are asking who will take care of me. I mean, there's only a small segment of the population that's thinking that, and that is your unproductive element of society, or what the Marxian economists will call they don't call them the working class, they call it something else. the working poor is what they call them, the working poor, right? Because the Marxists, they divide, and a lot of non-Marxist economists and non-Marxist political talking heads do this too, where they divide the country into classes. This idea of compartmentalizing the country into classes is straight out of the school of Marxism. The idea being to make those who are not within the elite class or those who are in the wealthy class believe that those who are in the elite class somehow rob them, somehow is taking something from them, somehow is exploiting their labor, exploiting their work, right? So you have the impoverished, you have the working poor, you have the working class, you have the middle class, and then you have everything above that, the 1%, right? So this is what they mean. That speech, or that little excerpt from that speech that Barack Obama just said, is him talking to the so-called working poor. The reason I say that is because the working poor, and I'm just going to use their language for the sake of this conversation. When it comes to the working poor, these have long been the targeted group that Democrats have gone after, that they have organized for political power. Whenever Obama moved to Chicago after college, he did so to organize the working poor. Saul Alinsky and the work that he did in Chicago, the community organizing work, he did so with the so-called working poor. Again, on and on I can go. They are targeting the impoverished people, the people who are unproductive. I should say that they are targeting, because impoverished is a Marxian word too, but they are targeting the unproductive people because they know these people don't have jobs. They're very good complainers, and they can use their plight. Look, Miss Betty, she has rats and roaches in her house. The landlord is trying to kick her out the house. She hasn't been able to feed her children. That's a story that a lot of people can feel sorry for and say, man, my vote for Barack Obama helps Miss Betty, so let me vote for Barack Obama, right? Mm-hmm. So this is how they manipulate people. Mm-hmm. So they organize the so-called working poor so as to, for one, get as many unproductive people on their side as possible, to build an army out of the so-called working poor, and also to build an army out of the immigrant, because they are to some extent unproductive as well. So you build an army of unproductive people, you show strength in numbers, and then this intimidates the other quote unquote side. Now, the Democrats have long said that they have the working class on their side. But the fact is, as we've seen in 2016, the working class is an unreliable voter bloc when it comes to the Democrats. The working class can go either way, right? For a long time in this country's history, the working class have resonated with union talking points, because the union promised to protect your jobs, to keep your jobs from going overseas, to make sure that you have a living wage, to protect your family, to take care of your family, this, that, and the third. But when it comes to these so-called Rust Belt pockets of the country, many of these people, their vote went toward Donald Trump in 2016 because at the end of the day, they have a bigger interest in taking care of themselves and their families than a commitment to socialism. This commitment to this notion that everybody should have the same, everybody should be equal. When the rubber hits the road, the so-called working class, or the productive element of society, they aren't ideologues. They are just practical people who want to take care of their families. And so when it comes to politician rhetoric, it really is a battle for who can say this thing that will entice me more. Whenever Donald Trump came down that escalator and he's talking about, immigration and the fact that immigration takes a toll on jobs and industries and this, that, and the third, whenever he, in true businessman fashion, is talking about we're going to bring jobs back to America, this resonated with the Rust Belt. This resonated with the productive element of society. This is why these places are called swing states, because they're an unreliable voter bloc. Even though the Democrats have long claimed that they are the champions of the working man and of the working class, the reality is they're really just ideologues who are willing to manipulate and lie to try to get their way. And so for every productive person that they're losing as far as their voter bloc, they're trying to make up for that with the unproductive element. This is why they're trying to, once again, build their base with as many unproductive people as possible. Ayn Rand in her books called these people looters. right? He referred to them as looters. These are the looters of society. They seek to extract. They seek to get out more. You know, they seek to take and to steal and to take by force that which they have not earned, that which they have not worked for. These people, these politicians, are a unproductive person's wet dream. Barack Obama, when he says the American people are looking for who will take care of them, he's not talking about you and me. He's talking about building an army out of the unproductive element of society because they understand that there's strength in numbers. Blanche and Crystal, what say y'all?
Atlas shrugged. Go ahead, Blanche.
I agree. And again, because he's able to give a speech and talk to several different audiences, lets you know how cunning and crafty he is. And when they're talking to the person that works, the person that's a degenerate, the person that has the big heart. They're talking to the big mama. They're talking to the old veteran. Like, they're talking to everybody all at one time, conveying a different message. That's why I'm saying that what they're doing is so intricate that it's not just by chance. Like, and so what Chad is saying is 1,000% correct. They want an army, because you got to think, who makes up BLM protesters? Who makes up Antifa? These are unproductive people, and they have time on their hands. You know, who has time to go out there and protest for some nonsense? Who has time to go out there and spend hours out of the day just with a bullhorn yelling and defacing property? Unproductive people. So if you think about it, those people will come in handy if you want to, quote unquote, start a revolution. You know, if you want to decide to do something and you want to, what they call agitate, what they call disrupt, those terms, you want to do something, you know, to get society in chaos, those folks are going to do it willingly. So yeah, I agree 100%. And this is what we're talking about earlier, just how crafty and cunning Barack Obama is. Like, he's able to say certain things that, you know, will get the rise out of certain groups of people. And then to Chad's point again, the swing states, you know, they're talking about Trump, but they're also talking about the economy too. So they're not just, when Joe Biden was running, it was just Trump. We can't let Trump win. But now they got a little smarter, because that won't work anymore. They're talking about Trump, but also we're going to make the economy better. Also, we're going to take care of you. Also, you know what I'm saying? They're trying to tackle all these different talking points, because now people are a little more wiser, a little more decadent, but a little more wiser as far as the messaging, because they can't really sell Kamala on, you know, we can't let Trump in. You got to ask some other stuff. It's not going to work. She's not compelling enough. You got to be able to talk to these people, like he said, in these swing states. What about the economy? What about the grocery store? It's just funny to me that when Joe Biden was president, they were saying that the prices were down, there was no inflation, and everything was great. And as soon as Kamala became a nominee, now the country is in shambles, and we do something to save. It's just crazy how powerful the media is, man. It's just insane.
Yeah. And what I will say, and you guys are not going to agree with me, I think we've already established that. I guess I live about 15, 20 miles away from the richest county in the United States of America, which is PG County. And a lot of these people relate to those messages as well. So you say, you know, working poor, I get it. And the poor. However, for whatever reason, I don't know if Black people feel like related to these people or feel like they know these kinds of people. But when they speak this, they're so far removed from the government needing to take care of them. They all have very expensive houses and cars and government contracts and government jobs. However, they somehow still relate to communism. And I'm like, do you know communism would not afford you the lifestyle that you have right now?
Wait. You're saying that the wealthy people in this particular county relate to communism?
Oh yeah. Oh.
Okay. Well, yeah. I agree with that, but they agree, like their reason is different from the unproductive element. Their reason, like I said earlier, is that they want to. They see their voting for the Democrat or the communist as their way of helping Miss Betty.
Like
They don't
philanthropy.
want Miss Betty. Yeah, they don't want Miss Betty in their neighborhood. Look, I voted for the person, so I mean, you stay over there, and I am entrusting these politicians to make your community better. But my voting for this politician is me doing my part to help. And then too, a lot of them might even donate their own money to help build schools and this, that, and the third in these communities because they believe that. And that kind of goes into their God complex too, like the fact that they believe they are a God. But yeah, I think that it does something like the rhetoric that Barack Obama is using. You're right. There's a lot of wealthy people who that resonates, but they see it as their opportunity to be considered a kind of God or paternal in the lives of the unproductive class of society.
And I'll say this. No, like PG County is the richest county in the United States. Well, I don't know if it's changed because Atlanta is on the come up, but like it's the richest county in the United States the richest Black county in the United States of America.
I was about to say, like,
you can't
rich by what?
I mean, like richest Black county, sorry, in the United States of America, but you can't drive through there and leave your car door unlocked. You cannot send your kids to those schools. Like, so what I'm saying is that even though like they are wealthy and they have money, for whatever reason, they go to this, I want to be taken care of. They need to be doing something for me. Nobody does anything for Black people. I watched Camilla Harris on the Steve Harvey show. I don't know if you guys got a chance to see the whole interview, but she was actually talking about, oh, we're going to give you government contracts and we're going to give you like, and that's how you're going to build your wealth. We're going to pay for your school, even if you didn't finish college. So this is a person who is not even like they don't even have a degree. You can't even say that they are teaching or giving service. She said, did you know that we're going to still give you student loan forgiveness even if you didn't finish? And everybody's like cheering, like, and I'm like, so I hear what you're saying. Like, I don't know what it is that the human being wants to be taken care of. I heard, and I don't know if you agree with this, but that's our natural state of being. I mean, like our natural human state of being is that we are taken care of by the Father. Like you said, it's a God complex. We are taken care of by the Father. And so when the Democrats come around and they say, oh, we're going to take care of you, you don't have to worry about anything. I don't know what it is that they gravitate or that tickles their ears or they get super excited. Nobody wants to be an adult anymore. Nobody wants to have responsibility. Nobody wants to care for themselves. And that's why Christianity in this day is so ineffective and it's a lazy religion because they're sitting up here waiting on God to come down and save them. And it doesn't matter what they do here. And then when you preach a gospel like thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven, they look at you like you're a heretic. Like, I don't know what it is with these people. Like, I can only say like they just hate truth. They hate truth.
So would you say that the people in these, let's say the well-to-do Blacks, do you think, because I feel like they believe that their voting isn't going to really impact them. So like, for instance, they can vote for Kamala and it not really directly impact them because of where they are in their financial, I guess, career or whatever, like what they do. So it's kind of like what Chad was saying, like they kind of just vote as a means to, because you got to think they're also voting against the narrative too. You know, the narrative is that white people are racist and they're keeping Black people down, even though they made it, Black folks being kept down. So isn't their vote more or less just like charity? I'm saying, like, is there a vote? Like, I don't think they think their vote
That's
is
exactly what it is.
Like, it's not. You gotta think it's not really going to impact.
No, they think that they think that their vote is power. They think that they're doing something to change. But you got to remember, you guys, these are some of the most ignorant people in society. Like, and I say that I say that in a way that, for instance, the same Michelle Obama went to Princeton. She's married. She has 2 kids. She was president. She is trying to solidify the likes or the acceptance of a Cardi B. She would never be around a Cardi B. Cardi B would not be invited to anything that she ever had anything to do with, but they somehow are insecure that they somehow want to relate to these people who, like
But
you said,
what's your
society.
what's your answer to Blanche's question though?
He said that the question was, is do you think that they're doing it for charity? No, I think that they're doing it because they really want to relate to a world that they are so far removed from, but kind of still feel like they're in.
That's it, but it's not like to be like it's not a mutually exclusive thing. Like
Yeah,
what you're saying is true, but it's also charity. Like they also see it as charity, and there's historical data to back this up, and we've actually covered this at great length. I mean, when Martin Luther King was going into Baldwin Hills, which was the richest black county in the neighborhood or block in the entire United States, there in California, they called it the Black Beverly Hills. He was going to churches in Baldwin Hills and saying like, you owe it to your poor brothers and sisters in the South to back the civil rights movement, to join the movement. You saw the galvanizing of the black vote going to the Democrats as a result of what Martin Luther King was doing in the 1960s. And so there is a charitable component to it, but there's also what you're talking about where let me now, instead of owning the fact that my parents worked hard and they were able to make it to where I was able to live in this neighborhood and live in this large house, instead of being proud of that, let me now have some kind of guilt for that and try to claim this kind of mysterious black card and say that I too am like Cardi B. It's not an either or thing. It's both and. It's not a mutually exclusive thing.
I agree.
The charitable piece is a huge component to it.
Yeah,
that's my answer to your question.
And remember when you heard Ricky Smiley say in his rant, he said based on my tax bracket, I should be voting for Trump.
Right.
He said, based on how much money I make, I should be voting for Trump. He said, but I'm not, because I care about my people. And so I'm going to vote. You see what I'm saying? Like, basically, he's saying, I'm sacrificing my quote unquote financial benefits, my tax breaks. I'm going to do all that for black people, for the ones that can't. And so I'm kind of like, I just feel like Ricky Smiley doesn't believe that his voting is going to affect his pockets, because think about it, he's going to make money either way. Like he's still going to be Ricky Smiley, whether it's Trump or Kamala in office. So again, I don't think he thinks the policies are really going to affect him. Like, think about it. They don't even talk about policies. Think about it. They don't even talk about policies. These well-to-do black folks talk about all the ideological, superficial stuff. They don't talk about policies, and they talk about like Chad said, the poor grandma or the schools and all this, you know. So I don't know. I feel like they just think it's charity. Like I'm doing this for my people.
Well, I think that is ignorance. I think that's what I hear what you're saying, but he's saying, oh, I should, based on my pockets, I'm voting for I should be voting for Trump, but based on to help out my people. Like, if they really knew that these people are not being helped, that's why I said it's out of sheer and utter ignorance. I don't think that I really think that they think that the Democrat policies help poor people, because you got to remember, if you want to hide something, if you want to, I agree. If you want to hide something, put it in a book. If you want to hide something from a black person, put it in a book. And
or a pair of work boots.
Exactly. These people are ignorant. I agree. These people are ignorant. I agree. And so they're saying that. So he probably thought that was very profound of him, and very, oh, I'm taking one for the team for my people. But everybody, and most conservatives or anybody who has read a book or who has listened to Thomas Sowell, you will know, or if you've lived the last freaking 16 years, that not a single thing that these people are doing is helping out the grandma down the street. They just lie. They just literally lie.
I don't disagree.
But
But yeah,
I'll say one thing.
Yeah, go ahead.
One more point, Crystal. I do agree that most of these black celebrities are clueless about what's going on.
Yes.
They're just doing what's popular, trying to be relevant, trying to stay lit. Most of them have no idea. They just get the script and they read it. That's just it. So I do agree with that. I was just saying that you have to be kind of comfortable in your career and your life to not even have to care about what policies are going to come down. I mean, you're saying just to hear somebody say, we're going to do this and do that. We're going to look out for the immigrants and the black people and all this stuff. But hold on, time out. But even Steve Harvey, he knows a little something because he knows that they ain't doing nothing for black people. That's why he said, wait till the next time. So Steve Harvey, even though it is trying to get folks to vote for Kamala, he still admitted y'all ain't getting nothing. So you better hope you get on the next go round because you ain't. So they do know that. I mean, they do know that there's some sobriety in this whole thing.
But here's the ignorance. You guys got to watch the Steve Harvey clip when he says, like Kamala Harris talks about healthcare and how they want to provide free healthcare to people. And then Steve Harvey then says, yeah, but it's not going to pay for your BBLs that y'all trying to get or your breast jobs that y'all trying to get. But it's paying for people's sex change, you freaking idiot. Like, that's what I'm saying. They are stupid. They're just literally just saying, like, they're just whatever sounds funny, whatever sounds cool, whatever sounds like they are not taking sides, but they're taking sides. They're just saying it out of sheer ignorance. I don't understand why he didn't ask her more questions when she said, hey, you don't have to finish college for us to forgive your student loan. Like, you don't even have to have a job in your dance study theory. You don't have to have a job and we'll just pay your student loan. Like, there was no questions about it because they're just ignorant.
Well, he won't question that because the fact that you have a student loan, it was predatory in the first place. So you're the victim. So they look at you as the victim when you go to college and get a student loan. So yeah, he wouldn't question that.
To
you got any more video?
All of us to be the antidote to the darkness and division. Look, I don't care how you identify politically, whether you're Democrat, Republican, Independent, or none of the above. This is our time to stand up for what we know in our hearts is right.
And Tim understand that when everybody gets a fair shot, we are all better off. They understand that when every child gets a good education, the whole economy gets stronger. When women are paid the same as men for doing the same job, all families benefit. Democracy isn't just a bunch of abstract principles and dusty laws in some book somewhere. It's the values we live by. It's the way we treat each other, including those who don't look like us, or pray like us, or see the world exactly like we do.
So one of the things that was a common denominator in what both of them just said, you had Michelle saying that, you know, she's basically using this rhetoric to say that it doesn't matter if you're Republican or Democrat, left, right, conservative, liberal, black, white, this, that, and the other. We all have values that we want to live by and values that we want to promote. And then Barack Obama is basically saying the same thing. Doesn't matter who you worship. And so it's interesting because what they're doing is they're trying to make themselves out to be the most high moral, the most astute in terms of what all of us want, the most neutral, whatever the case may be. And they're saying this stuff on the Democratic National Convention stage, a hyper-partisan, hyper-political, hyper-divisive political entity. So you're sitting up there saying, like, look, we should all just come, set aside our differences to come together. But at the end of the day, you're not going to change your mind about Marxism. You're not going to change your mind about using the taxpayers' money to fund abortions and sex changes. You're not going to change your mind about having open borders and inviting foreigners to come over here to become to get a citizenship, much like finding the prize at the bottom of a cracker Cracker Jack box. Like, you're not going to change your fundamental philosophy or the thing that drives you politically at all. But the rest of us, see, when they think they're slick, when they talk about this business of coming together and this, that, and the third, they're not going to drop their political ideology or political philosophy, but they do expect you to drop yours.
It's so funny.
They do expect you to drop yours. And then the two, like, for Barack Obama to spend half his speech talking about, like, basically lying about, you know, what Trump represents and what Trump and his donors represents and what Trump and his base represents, basically lying and doing this kind of political tit for tat, only to later in his speech say, like, look, we all just need to come together and set aside our differences. Like, when you you don't have any moral high ground to say such a thing at all. At all. Like, you know, they're not, you know, these people in the middle, they're not like the rest of us. These people in the middle, they're tired of the back and forth. And they just want they want some normalcy. They want for everybody to just come together. And we believe as a Democrats that we can do that. Like, no, you can't. You've demonstrated in this very speech that you can't do that. So again, like, Crystal, I have to disagree. Like, he knows what he's doing. He knows exactly what he's doing. You can't lie on Trump and then in the very next sentence say that you're the one who's trying to bring people together.
Right.
Like he knows full well what he's doing. Anyway, let's.
And
do
then,
y'all have any comments on what we just watched or?
Oh my
or
God!
like
Not what we just watched. I'm laughing at what you said because right before they came and speak, Oprah said, "I'm saying this as a registered independent," and I just bust out laughing.
Oprah said she was independent.
Oprah said, "I am telling y'all as a registered independent." Y'all, get the clip. I'm telling you, you will see the clip. She says she's a registered independent. Y'all, you can't make this stuff up. And I think she really believe it. I think she.
There's no way Oprah believes she's an independent, Crystal. Stop. Oprah is a lib. She's one of the queen libtard demons.
But even like the word like registered is
like you're
misleading.
Registered, but it's deceiving. Yeah,
like
you're
you can register as anything,
right?
Like you literally have men running around calling themselves women and women running around calling themselves men. Like you can call yourself anything. It doesn't make it true. People think that because somebody is a registered Republican or registered Democrat, registered independent, that their ideology matches what they put on paper. Like that doesn't mean anything.
The sniper was a registered Republican, right?
I know, right? But you guys, I'm telling you, these folks, they're delusional.
Oprah said she's a, oh my God.
She
You
said,
know what's crazy? You know what's crazy? Like, imagine Big Mike saying that she doesn't care whether you're Republican or yes, like whether you're in the. Yes, you do.
You do.
Like the whole point of what you're saying is because you want people to vote Democrat. Of course you care. What you mean you don't care? You want the votes.
They care. They care. They care more than Republicans care. That's the facts of the matter.
Now, that's true. the Democrats do care more than Republicans because the Democrats going hard.
Yeah. I said to my husband, because, you know, Trump has moved away from the national abortion ban and Project 2024, which I agree fully. I fully support Project 2025 and the national abortion. I don't think
it goes hard enough.
Exactly. So my husband and I got into this disagreement because I said, when you are a Democrat, they don't care how you feel about gays in your private life. They don't care how you feel about LGBTQ in your private life. You can be a pastor, you can be whatever, but when you get out on that stage, we support LGBTQ. And I'm like, Why can't Republicans say, I don't care what you feel in your private life, you can believe it's between a woman and her doctor all you want to. However, on this stage, we support national abortion ban. We support Project 2025's goals and values. I don't understand why we just weakened ourselves. Like you said, I don't feel like he pushes it enough.
Well, you know what?
I
I think.
don't think that the actual project goes far enough. Is what I'm saying.
Oh,
I mean,
really?
Trump distanced himself from it as a political maneuver because the rhetoric was kind of piling up on the
It
left
was too
side of the
much.
political spectrum.
Too
They were
much.
kind of building up this kind of fear-mongering rhetoric,
Yeah.
saying like, can you believe what Project 2025 was doing? And so in an effort to try to say, look, in an effort to try to save face, he distanced himself from Project 2025, which makes sense. But my opinion on that is this
I know
goes
you
to
didn't read
show.
it.
I don't think it
Yeah, we
makes
all
sense.
know he didn't read
I
it.
don't think it makes
But
sense. He probably agrees with everything that's in there.
right, but my whole thing is, it goes to show how poor Republicans are at utilizing the moment to their advantage,
Yeah.
right?
Mhm.
We all know, and I made this point last Sunday, that when you listen to Kamala Harris's speech that she gave in North Carolina, where she released or unleashed her economic policy, her economic plan, right? Because everybody was saying you need to come up with a plan, you need to come up with a plan. So she came up with she basically unveiled what her economic plan was. If you listen to all the things that she's saying in terms of like forgiving debts and
Price
building
fixing.
all this housing and going after price gouging and cracking down on corporations, all of that, like all the stuff that she was saying is right out of the book of the World Economic Forum. It's all reminiscent of the World Economic Forum. Everything that she's been saying is in keeping with the World Economic Forum. Everything that Barack Obama was doing during his camp, or what am I trying to say? Not candidacy, administration was right out of the World Economic Forum. Everything that Joe Biden was doing was right out of the book of the World Economic Forum, Agenda 2030. And that's what the World Economic Forum, by the way, every 15 years they come up with a new agenda that establishes and lays out their plan for the next 15 years. And the Democrats, they follow suit. They work to the bone to try to establish and try to implement everything that's written in the World Economic Forum's agenda. Republicans don't do as good of a job calling them out for that in the same way as the Democrats do calling Trump out for 2025, for Project 2025. And so they miss these opportunities. And it's not so much that they miss the opportunities, if I'm being fair to them. It's more the case that most of the mainstream media is leftist. And so to the extent that you have, such organizations like The Blaze or OAN or Newsmax, who, to their credit, they were tying Kamala Harris's economic plan to the World Economic Forum, but their voices get drowned out by Fox News and some of these bigger so-called Republican news agencies that don't sound the alarm at all about what's really going on. And so my point is this, because I mean, yes, he's an outsider, but he's also a politician, Donald Trump.
Yeah.
He's a politician insofar that he's going to do the most politically expedient thing to try to remain favorable in the eyes of a certain amount of Americans. And so he's going to distance himself from things that seem to be unpopular to him. He's going to, like, even on the whole abortion, being taken back to the states, he's going to say, well, yeah, I just want it to go back to the states, as opposed to saying like, no, I want to outright ban on abortion, because he's trying to be politically expedient. I disagree with it, but at the same time, there's a reason why he's running for president and I'm not.
Agreed.
There's things that he's willing to do and things that he's willing to say that I'm not willing to do and say, that a lot of principled men are not willing to do and say. I'd rather him be in office than Kamala Harris. That's for dang sure. But at the end of the day, like, I think I'll be remiss if I don't mention this. I know I've been yapping for a while, but I'll be remiss if I don't say this. And my pastor actually brought this up this past Sunday, which is when Jesus died on the cross, right? And mind you, throughout his ministry, there were a lot of people who were confused as to who Jesus was, and what he was here to do. Because their understanding of Torah, their understanding of the prophets of old, their understanding of their religious tradition was that Emmanuel will come, he will be God with us, and he will free us from our earthly oppression. And at the time when Jesus came onto the scene, the oppressor was Rome, Caesar. That's who the oppressor was. And so when he came onto the scene, they weren't quite sure what to make of him because he didn't come with all this grandeur and with all this glory that like they thought that he would come. He came as a baby, as an infant, to a poor mother. And he was born and placed into a manger, the most unimpressive, unattractive way in which you can come into the world. And so they weren't quite sure, like, oh, you mean the carpenter's son from Nazareth, this guy? They weren't quite sure what to make of it because he's walking on water, he's feeding people, he's raising people from the dead, he's healing the sick and the lame and the lepers, and so on and so forth. There's something special about him, but we're not quite sure what to make of it. So the Pharisees and the Sadducees, they were trying to test him and all these things, and even his own disciples were arguing over who will, they believed that he was a Messiah. They believed that he was a promised one to come. But even they believed that his coming was a political event, that that he was here to overthrow Rome as the government, and that he would establish Israel as the world superpower. And so because I believe that he will be the new king, let me now wrestle for who will sit at his right, who will sit at his left. They didn't understand that his kingdom was not of this world, even though he was telling them this all along. So when Jesus would go on to die, as he predicted, he said, destroy this temple in 3 days and I will raise it up. They weren't quite sure what to make of that language. Whenever he died, whenever he was put to death, he was hanging on a cross. They put him in the tomb. 3 days later, he rose. He visited with numerous people, and then he ascended into heaven. Whenever he ascended, he established power over every earthly government throughout human history.
Amen.
So what does that mean? That means for election 2020 or 2008, election 2012, election 2020, election 2024, and every election from here on out, Christ is already the winner. Christ is already the established king. Right. He's already the victor. And so what does that mean, and what does that not mean? Does that mean that we just retreat and we don't vote and we don't show up civically and this, that, and the third? It doesn't mean that. We still do that for some degree of structure and stability and peace in the land. We shouldn't just give it over. We should still have some dominion over the earth because God gave us dominion over the earth, right? Mm-hmm. But we don't get delusional about if Trump doesn't win, this is the end of humanity. Like we don't get that wrapped up into it because we already know how this is going to end. We already know who the victor is. And again, I'll be remiss if I don't say that, because like when we listen to Kamala and Michelle and Barack and all these things, like, yes, they're lying. Yes, they're gaslighting. And yes, Trump lies sometimes too. And yes, Trump, can show himself to be narcissistic in some ways. And yes, Trump can, and all the things. But again, comparatively speaking, he's a better option than Kamala. He's the better option than Joe. He's a better option than Hillary. That goes without saying. But my point is I'm going to vote for him, but not with the slightest bit of a delusion that Trump is going to fix all this and everything's going to be great. Like, no, I'm more excited about God's kingdom. I'm more excited about his kingdom coming. And I'm more excited about my role as a man on the earth to share and spread the gospel, to teach the gospel to my children, to lead my family well, to share the gospel with my neighbor, to share the gospel with those of you here on YouTube and on social media. I want to talk about the politics and stuff, but my ultimate goal is to show you just how much it doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, I'm not trying to get all preachy tonight, but I'll be remiss when we're talking about all this politics stuff if I don't say that. So anyway,
yeah, but I think what you're saying, Chad, and I love you, my brother, but I think that God is enacting judgment on our lands. I mean, like seriously, and I think people don't understand that, and I do believe that it doesn't matter if Trump wins or Kamala wins. I do believe that if Trump wins, it will slow down the judgment, because I think that he hasn't put in policies or that directly go against God yet. He hasn't, not a policy. I do believe that us Christians are responsible for what's going on in this land. I know that we say that God is definitely, I mean, he's ultimately on the throne, but he said, let us make God and let us make man in our image and let them have dominion over the earth. And I feel like we're just doing a terrible, terrible job. And I think when Christians say, you know, oh, God is in control, and ultimately he's still, like, it kind of like is that lazy kind of Christian. It absorbs us of what we're supposed to be doing, and that is enacting God's law on this earth. And we have
it doesn't absolve us, though. It doesn't absolve us. I mean, the thing is, like, it is a fundamental truth that God is in control. It is a fundamental truth that God reigns. But again, when you read 2 Timothy chapter 3, and it says you will be persecuted, that's a promise.
Right.
As believers in Christ, you will be persecuted. Not only that, we live in a fallen world, and fallen people do fallen things. And the fact is, the fallen people outnumber those of us who are his remnant. So when we're promised that we will be persecuted in a land full of people who don't know God and outright are hostile to God, it shouldn't surprise us. And so what I'm not arguing for is all out retreat. What I'm saying is, don't be surprised when things don't go your way. Does that mean give up? Does that mean don't vote? Does that mean da? No, it means don't have this notion, because to the extent that you have this notion that I must fight with all my might to move the country in a conservative direction, and like, when you do that, you lose yourself. You lose yourself in the politics. You lose yourself in the partisanship. You lose yourself in the cult of personality on either side of the political spectrum. So for me, it's like, yes, I lean conservative. There's nothing a Democrat or a liberal can say that's going to entice me to vote for them at all, because I understand what their doctrine is. It's just a completely different worldview that's anti-God. And even to the extent that you have Republicans, the overwhelming majority of the Republicans who are in Congress, many of the people who are in Trump's administration, and in many ways Trump himself, are not here to implement or to impose or to push for a godly nation. They're just not. They just are not. And so for me, it's like, my task is given to me not by Trump, not by a politician, not even the people that I like. It's given to me by Christ himself, who gave me a great commission. And that great commission is to teach Christ and him crucified. Whenever Jesus died, rose again, ascended, he established something on the earth as a force for good. It was not the Republican Party. It was not the Democrat Party. It was the church. And so, yes, to your point, Christians have in many ways done a poor job, but I don't know that that's entirely true, because the fact is, we can't look at the world in the way that it is and say this is a result of Christians doing a poor job. Because to say that would be to say the converse, which is that if Christians were doing a better job, they will have ownership of government, they will have ownership of the institutions, they will have ownership of this, that, and the third. Well, that goes against what we read in the Bible, where it says you will be persecuted. That persecution will be there. Even when you had Christians who were, quote unquote, in charge, there was still persecution, there was still deception, there was still corruption, this, that, and the third, because Christ came to change hearts. He came with a sword, and he says, with this sword, it will divide mother-in-law from son, from da-da-da-da-da. So we know that sword, because it's so controversial, causes division. And so we shouldn't be surprised by the division. We shouldn't be surprised because the truth is jarring. It's just jarring. The fact that Christ came and was crucified and rose again, that's a jarring truth. The fact that we all have this godlike complex, we want to be our own God, we want to choose for ourselves what's good and evil, and we don't want to yield to God's authority. Like, the fact that, for a person to come to the realization that, look, I must die to that. I must be born again. I must come to the light and follow Christ and make him Lord over me. I don't have the answers. I can't choose for myself what's right and wrong. I have to subordinate myself to the lordship of Jesus Christ. That's a jarring, controversial decision that one makes. So when you do that, you will be persecuted. And this is why I said, like, someone like myself, like, I can't run for office and win, because most people, to the point that you made earlier, want to be taken care of. They want to be lied to. The Israelites wanted Saul to be their king. They didn't want to be ruled by the judges anymore, which was established by the Mosaic law. They wanted to look like the pagan nations that surrounded them. So they put Saul up as their king, and they were persecuted, and they paid for it dearly. And in many ways, they're still paying it for it to this very day. And so my point is, when it comes to worldly governments, we mustn't put our hope in them. I shared a clip with, not a clip, but a meme. It wasn't even a meme. It was a quote card of something Raphael Warnock said. Blanche, I know you saw it earlier, where he said that a vote is a kind of prayer for the world we wish to have. Like, again, they want to use government to build their Tower of Babel. And I don't look at government as that. Even as, you know, voting for Republicans, I don't look at them to build a Tower of Babel. I look at them to roll back regulation, to roll back government run amok, to roll back government overgrowth. I know they're not going to do it, but at least they campaign on this notion of rolling back big government. That's the only reason I vote for them. But my hope is in Christ and him, and in him alone. That doesn't mean that I'm being a coward. That doesn't mean that I am, trying to find the easy way out. Like, no, it just means that, like, I make no apologies for the fact that that my desire is higher than what this world can offer me. I have a family in this world. I have friends in this world. I want to have some degree of structure and stability and peace for my sake and for theirs. But you know what I mean? At the end of the day, I'm not going to be surprised when they start cracking down on Christians and this, that, and the third. Doesn't mean we lost, because we were promised that we will be persecuted for his sake.
Yeah.
And Paul wrote that while he was actually in prison.
Yeah. No, I don't disagree with you guys, but what I will say is that I believe the Bible when it says when the righteous are in charge, the people rejoice, and that's kind of where I'm coming from. Is like, I just constantly want us to get more righteous, because I know what it means, the direction, and I know you guys know what it means, but I'm just saying, I know what it means, the direction that we're going in. There rose a generation that knew not the Lord. Every single time that we nation was sold into slavery, or famine hit the land or something, there rose a generation that knew not the Lord. And I can honestly say that we are the generation that knew not the Lord. And that's fearful to me, because I have 3 children, so I literally am just like, I'm not even thinking about the persecution of myself as much as, like, I just don't want my children to have to be. And I want the righteous to be in charge, so that people rejoice. Yeah.
And that's a noble thing to desire. That's to be sure. But what I'm saying is, we shouldn't be surprised when we're not, when the righteous are not going to win.
Okay, if y'all don't know what, Donald Trump is not going to win. He's not going to win. I'm making my prediction right now. He's not going to win. They're not going to let him win. And sadly, Republicans are above cheating.
I have to agree with Crystal.
Let's see here. Let's get into some of these supers. We got one from Willie Doc. Says, so glad you all are here tonight. Thanks so much. Thank you, Willie Doc. Really appreciate the super. We got one from Miss Reed J07. The Democratic Party has ran this country for 16 years, right? Trump had it for 4 years, but Obama and Clinton collectively ran it for 12 years.
16 years.
Let's see. Trump had it for 4 years, but Obama and Clinton collectively ran it for 12
had
years.
It for 16 years. They both served 2 terms.
Right. But I think she means Biden.
Yeah, she means
Trump.
Like straight.
Yeah, Trump had it for 4 years, but Obama and Biden collectively ran it for 12 years, or 12 of the last 16 years. Mm-hmm. But everything in Trump is Trump's fault, and Kamala Harris has been in the administration for 3.5 years. Can someone riddle me this? Yeah, you're absolutely right. And I forget the guy's name on CNN who pointed this out as well. That 16 years ago, I graduated from high school. That's the same year that Barack Obama was elected president, and he ran the country for 8 years. implemented a lot of very, very bad policies that have a lasting effect. And not only that, but he intensified a lot of racial strife and division. That's what that's his legacy. That's what he did. Of course, the media is not going to point that out, nor will the history books point that out. But it is a fact. And so he was a terrible, terrible president, right in line with Jimmy Carter and the rest of them. Just bad, objectively bad. And then Trump came in office, and he was able to undo some of what Obama did, and then Biden comes back into office and re-implements some of the many of the bad policies that Obama did, and doubles down and makes things worse. And so, yes, for the last 16 years since I graduated high school, Democrats have dominated American politics. I would argue more than 12 years, because even while Trump was in office, they were still causing damage to Democrats.
Right.
So
you can barely even do anything. Yeah.
Right.
And they're not gonna let him. This is all semantics, you guys. I mean, like, forget it. Like, they're not gonna let him win. They underestimated the votes that they were willing to add. The last
Democrats say all the time that if Trump wins, the country's over. Da, 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 da. Of course, Trump was in office for 4 years, and here we are still ticking. But I firmly believe that if Kamala Harris, given her background, given her incompetence, given her the fact that she's a tried and true Marxist, if she gets into office, then the country. I mean, they've already done a lot of damage. And whenever Obama was running, he was running on what? Hope and change. he did a lot of change. All right. He did a lot of change for the absolute worst. He said on numerous occasions that he wants to transform America. What does that mean? Nobody ever dared ask him.
Right.
He just thought it sounded good. He wants to transform America. Yes, he wants to transform America into a communist nation, into a globalist nation. That's what he wants to do. That's how he wants to transform America. Whoever said that America needed to be transformed, but y'all went for it, right? And so that's what he did, and that's what he implemented. And so Kamala Harris will be coming in and carrying the baton, doubling down, making America a very unrecognizable place, and using the unproductive element of society to do so. They're going to continue to pander and cater to the unproductive element, promising housing, promising free healthcare, free this, free that, free everything. They are rolling out socialism right before our very eyes, and they're laughing while they're doing it. It's ridiculous.
My son came home and told me that he learned that socialism was the best form of society, best form of government.
There's your public schools for you. Let's see, were you about to say something, Blanche?
Oh no. I agree. I thought about when Chris was talking about believers, I guess not being proactive enough, not being courageous enough. If you think about it, how would it have worked though? Let's say that Christians got in charge. Just think about how many divisions we have in the church, like Baptist, Protestant, Lutheran. I just think that it's inevitable of what would happen. There's going to always be division, just because those that truly follow after Christ is just going to be the path is just a narrow and rarely walked on path. And so, the more you follow Christ, the smaller the crowd gets. And I don't care, somebody can be, even people in church, all the people say, I love Jesus, all this stuff. But the more you really start following Christ, the less people are around you. So I think that even if Christians were in charge or believers were in charge, it would be the same thing. It would just be different divisions of believers and different. So you'd have, instead of Republicans and Democrats running for office, you'd have Catholics, Baptists, and Protestants running for political office. You know what I'm saying? It would still be the same kind of concept. Maybe not all the decadence and all the damnation and death and destruction and demonic rituals and baby sacrifices, but it would still be some kind of form of division with even believers. And I would still kind of take away from God's message, because you would still have a political element on top of the word of God. So how do you even compete? How do you even have a debate with somebody if y'all both believe in Christ and God? Like, how do you have a debate? What are y'all debating about? You know what I'm saying? Like, what are your debatable topics at that point if you both believe in the Bible and the Word of God and Christ? So again, I think it would be inevitable, for us to be like this. I think that, to me, our Great Commission, and Christ mentioned it, is for us to gather these lost sheep. It's not for us to gather the entire flock, because the flock is going to go to the slaughter on their own, whether we have a pasture for them or not. Our job is to get the lost sheep. So even with stuff that we do, our message isn't for the masses of people. It's for the people that would end up probably being, God's remnant. And so, because Chris, you mentioned the truth. You said how the truth is so, it's so jarring, and really, I said the lies entertain, but the truth convicts. Because that is the case. Most people are going to reject what we say just because it is the truth. Like it's just they're going to recoil from it, and they're going to reject it. But those that don't, those to me are who God really wants. Like God, like to me, I think it's a parable where the shepherd leaves the 99 for the one. And it's because he's able to leave the 99 because the 99 aren't going nowhere. They're already obedient. They know what to do. He doesn't have to monitor them. It's the one that's on the fence. It's the one that thinks that the grass is green on the other side. Is that the one that he has to go after? And so I feel like with us, that's what we're going. We're going after God's remnant, to me, during this time period, like his actual church in the end. And so I think it's the way it's playing out, to me, even though it'd be a tumultuous time if Kamala is president, I feel like it will bring out the best in us. I feel like it will elevate us in a sort of spiritual sense to where we'll be that much more stronger for the kingdom, if that makes sense. Well, like they'll be throwing these arrows and darts. So Bob talks about 10,000 fell to my left, 1,000 fell to my right. I feel like with all of this stuff happening to us, we think about these last 4 years. Like our strength is like we're increasing in strength. Like our powers are growing. So even if she is president, and to Chad's point, and to your point, Crystal, both of you all have already said that no matter who's going to win, our mission is still the same. So we're not going to be moved. So it kind of really doesn't even matter who's president. It might be more inconvenient or more convenient, but the goal doesn't change. So I think anybody listening can be confident in that we're going to trust God regardless of who wins. Right. And not follow Christ. So that should be our mission.
For sure.
Very well said. Michelle Macon said Genesis 3:1, they believe their own rhetoric. Yeah, you're right. I guess you're referring to something Crystal was saying earlier, where we were talking about whether they're being deceivers or whether they actually believe in what they're saying. And I don't think it's either or. I think they believe their own rhetoric, and they also know that they're lying. And the purpose for that is because they're utilitarian. Those who are utilitarian believe in the mission. They believe in the goal. They believe in the place they're trying to go, but they are willing, because they don't have morals, they're willing to lie to get there. Lying is one of the tools in their toolkit, and they're not afraid to use it. Utilitarian is different. I guess the opposite of utilitarian is deontological. One who is deontological believes that in duty, they believe that a thing is wrong in itself, that lying is wrong in itself, that killing is wrong in itself, that it's never right to lie because you want some positive outcome. It's never right to kill because you want some positive outcome. Lying is inherently wrong. Killing is inherently wrong. Being dishonest is inherently wrong. And it's not right to do it because it's inherently wrong. Yeah. The utilitarian person, on the other hand, believes that, well, if lying will get me what I want, I'm going to do it. If killing will get me what I want, I'm going to do it. Those are two different worldviews. Democrats by nature are utilitarian. They're not deontological.
Of course.
Let's see. Vintage Goods, 1551 Willie, left us another super. Says Kamala's bear and the baboon nig. Let's did Mike's SSL.
SSI.
SSI.
No, he's saying no. He's saying Kamala Bear and the baboon niglets did Mike's SSI.
Oh, okay. What's an SSI? Is that
Mike's braids? I think maybe we say Mike's braids. Maybe.
Yeah.
okay?
Maybe get Mike's braids.
Yeah, that's what I assumed, and that's why I laughed. But I was like, am I thinking that they're saying what I'm thinking they're saying? Dayon said, PG County ideologically has been groomed by leftists.
Yep.
Many churches are there, but the Jesus they serve bends the knee to the state.
Oh yeah.
They certainly do. They certainly do.
Sad as plenty.
Stephen Carter, Trump will win in a landslide. Black folks, especially black men, will vote for him by at least 40%, but the media will still say it was 8%, but Trump will win. I agree with you, Stephen Carter. I think that Trump will win in truth. However, I do think that there will be attempts, just like in 2020, to steal the election. The question is, will they succeed in stealing the election?
Yeah,
that's the question.
That's the question. Because Trump will get more legal votes, but Kamala will be president.
Kamala will get all late votes, all digital votes, any kind of vote.
All 2-for-1 special at the voting polls.
All the deceased votes.
Right. She getting all them votes. Tupac's vote. Tupac gonna vote for her. Who else?
Biggie.
Biggie gonna vote for her. Yeah. Come on.
They all voting for him. No, I mean, no, they're gonna have to come up with something, but I personally believe they will never let Trump be president ever again. I don't care what they have to do to him. And if that means they have to unalive him, they will never let Trump be president again. He did too much damage on the first go round.
Well, didn't he win last? But he won last time and didn't win. You know
exactly. That's what I didn't say he won't win. I said they will not let him be president. That is the facts.
I just want y'all to be prepared.
Yes.
The amount of propaganda behind Kamala Harris is it's unprecedented. Like it's unreal. Like so don't be surprised if I remember when I voted back in 2021, I went to go vote, locally. And, when we had the, Governor Kemp and Stacey Abrams, I went to go vote and they had already cast my vote. They had already cast my vote. The machine wasn't working. I went to the lady and she was like, you got to go see them. And I said, yeah, it's saying I voted. She was like, you didn't vote? I was like, no. And she's like, oh. So she was like, y'all come. She's like, y'all come watch this. So she got the poll workers to come look. She said, look, this is how you get rid of a vote. And I'm not lying to you. He was on an iPad. She went, do. She said, okay, you can go vote now. I said, that's all it took? She was like, yeah. I was like, what the? Like, it was so easy for her to erase my vote. It was insane. Yeah. I was like, wait a minute. Oh, no, it was just too easy.
I worked the polls. Yeah, you erase the votes. You can. That's why I'm saying, like for everybody to give Sidney Powell, I was so upset the way they gave her such a hard time with the Dominion machines, and like what she was saying was true. Like everybody know they did it in Venezuela, like with those machines. Like you can fix machines to do whatever you want to, and they're like, oh, you can't do that. Okay, then. Like, I mean, what do you want when people unfortunately just want to be ignorant? They got all the DNC got all these people falling out and stuff. They're going to convince you that this campaign is so electrifying and so much joy. Camilla is going to get 100 million votes. I guarantee you. Joe Biden got 81 million. Camilla is getting 100 million.
Oh, easy. Think about the narrative. Look what a black woman did.
Exactly.
A black woman got 100 million votes. You ain't never seen that. Oh my!
Even though we only 7% of the like the economy, they gonna convince you that everybody and their mama, she gonna get 100 million votes. Watch what I tell y'all.
And we did it, and look how we did it. And Donald Trump lost, and now he listen.
And I don't know a single person that voted for Joe Biden. I cannot tell you I've not met one that is not black that voted for Joe Biden, but somebody told me he got 81 million votes.
They were coming around. Those people were texting me and calling me constantly, every day, all day to vote. Stuff in my mail. When I tell you that was a real thing, they were harassing, texting, calling, stuff in them. I mean, coming door to door. I'm like, my goodness. They're like, we've been by your house 5 times. You want to vote? I'm like, no. I used to be like, Trump 20. I used to say outlandish stuff. Trump 2020.
And someone I heard someone say his name is Tandrew 8 said that he said they're bringing all these illegal aliens, telling Republicans that they're gonna let illegal aliens vote. But what illegal alien going to stand in line to cast a vote? But it's all an illusion. Oh, all these people came in and they voted, and that's how she won. She got 100 million votes. I'm telling you, they setting it up, y'all. No illegal aliens are gonna be in your line voting. I guarantee you. But they're gonna tell you that they did. They're gonna tell you that they did.
And my friend said, he said, there's this luxury apartments they just built by my house in the mall parking. They built luxury apartments like in the mall parking lot, in the parking lot grounds. And he went there when they do a job, and he was like, started seeing some pink hairs, some ratchets, some he like, wait a minute. He's like, huh? So he asked one of the guys. He was like, hey, what kind of building is this? He was like, I'm seeing the element here. He was like, oh, this is government subsidized.
Yeah.
So he said he believes they're going to use all these empty apartment complexes and use them as like the residence for people that are going to vote. Like to justify the voters.
Oh, yeah.
It's just I feel like there's just an elaborate plan that we don't know about, but I'm with you, Crystal. Them folks ain't finna stand in no line for no 2 hours to vote for no They're like, her name Kamala or Tamale. Who is she?
And they gonna be like we, I mean, they're just not. I mean, like voting is something that you have to take off work to do. Like you have to have a mindset to vote. And they're not voting, but they're gonna tell us that illegal aliens are voting. Oh, look at the illegal aliens, they're voting. They're not. They're gonna tell you they did.
Okay, maybe this one thing may work. Maybe that the people that vote this time are going to be so overly skeptical, like overly watching, like it's going to make like where there's like it's going to be very hard to cheat. I don't know. That's my only hope, that people are like, you know what? Nah, we're going to sit here. We're going to watch the count. You ain't bought them no windows, no suitcases, no water mains busting. We ain't do none of that. Because otherwise it's going to be the same thing all over again.
Right.
It will be. And unfortunately, you can't watch mail-in ballots. You know what I'm saying? You can't, and that whole mail-in ballot hasn't gone away. That's why I said that hasn't gone away. And Republicans just ain't going to cheat. They ain't going to cheat. They ain't going to cheat.
All right, folks, we'll leave it there. Blanche, are you going live tomorrow?
Saturday.
Okay. What about you, Crystal?
Oh my gosh, I gotta get my live schedule back up, y'all. Just pray for me.
Right. Well, we hope y'all enjoyed the show.
Oh yeah, follow her. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, follow Crystal. Follow Blanche. We hope y'all enjoyed the show. No more supers. Thank y'all. Have a good night.
Good night.